This episode of Pondoff's Anonymous is brought to you by McKelvey Insurance Group. If you've ever felt confused or overwhelmed by insurance, McKelvey Insurance Group keeps it simple. They are an independent agency, which means they compare options from multiple providers to find the coverage that actually fits you and your needs, not just one company's policy. There's no pressure, no jargon, just honest guidance and real help. Call Evan McKelvey at McKelvey Insurance Group at 618-623-0080. You can reach out to us at Pondoff's Anonymous and we'll connect you. Or visit their website at mckelveyins.com. That's McKelveyins.com. We couldn't produce this show without them. This episode of Pondoff's Anonymous is brought to you by Light Source. What do we need when we're in the dark? Sometimes it's simply just a light source.
I'll react if I had to. Put some things in the past too, and don't let them distract you, but react if you have to. I'll react if I had to. Put some things in the past too, and don't let them distract you, but react if you have to. React if you have to. Don't know the time, just know that I'm one of a kind. What's on your mind? We're hard to find.
Oh, well, we're started. Cole, welcome. Okay. Pondoff's Anonymous. So unless you want us to edit that out about being type 1 and in prison, I feel like that's part of your story.
Yeah, it's part of it.
So you're a type 1er. You found out, and what happened?
Dude, they
getting right into it.
They like test the whole camp.
Okay.
So they were like lined up, and I remember, man, I'd lost about 30 pounds. And I'm eating like a horse. And I go in there and they test me. And this nurse is like, oh my gosh, we got to get you on a call out immediately. And it was 400.
Oh,
shit. And so they register at 402. And I'm like, okay, cool. So I'm like waiting around for 3 months for this call out. And
with nothing? No insulin? Nothing?
Nothing. I just that's how I found out. And 3 months goes by. And now I'm like going blind. And like all the guys that I'm like running around with in prison are like, are you fucking using drugs? And I said, no, I'm not using fucking drugs, dude.
I'm literally dying and they're doing nothing to help me.
Yeah, so I'm like, you know what, dude? The first of the year, I'm going up there. I'm going up to medical. So I go up there, they test me, and it won't even register. And so, and
what does that mean?
It wouldn't register. It just says high.
Okay.
You're above 500.
I was like,
you're supposed to be at 100.
Okay.
It doesn't. The numbers, the calculator doesn't go that high.
Right.
Yeah.
It maxed.
So over the next 6 hours, they gave me 3 shots of insulin. So they had to give me like 10 units at a time.
Dang.
And after about 6 hours, it registered at something like 460 or something. And the girl's like, I just saved your life. And I'm like, you're the girl that said you were going to put me on fucking call out.
You almost killed me.
Right. That's what I was saying. You were also the bitch at home.
Yeah.
Zoe, being the podcast resident social worker, was coming unglued, as you were saying. They did not. They emergency call out and then did nothing to you for 3 months. She was nothing. Human rights was getting violated.
Just is insane to me.
Yeah.
Is insane.
So.
Do you have a pump?
No, they tried giving me a pump.
Now, right?
I'm scared of a pump. I got like I'll tell you what, it was a game changer. That I went up and they gave me this meter that's like connected to my phone, so it like alerts me now instead of me just having to like poke my finger.
Yeah.
And my wife tried getting me to get this stuff for years, and I'm like, no, I'm not going to get it.
What does she know?
And what's she know? Yeah, she knew a lot. But
right.
Okay, I saw it up on your phone. I mean, I noticed everything. I can't help it, but I was like, is he starting a timer? Does he not want to be here?
No, yeah. So like that, I am, dude. With this thing, I'm up there like checking this thing consistently,
so
and I keep it up, So I went from
I thought you were trying to get out.
10. My A1C was like 10, and now I got it down to about 6.5 because this meter that I got on my back that I is attached to my phone.
So we were walking in, and he goes,
"Go, wife."
He goes, which now I wonder if you need to get checked. He said, if I might have to go to the bathroom a lot if my blood sugar gets low. I'm like, high, yeah. Sorry, important detail. I go, number 1 or number 2? He goes, oh, number 1. This makes me pee a lot. I'm like, oh, well, this is the Tinkle show because she'll leave about 3 times sometimes in the middle of a podcast.
I have to go.
And I'm going to step in real quick.
All right. Awesome.
Maybe the last 2 episodes, I'm not sure she's taken one at all.
I noticed at the end of last week, you went 2 hours. Yeah,
Yeah, and I drank nothing. I was parched the whole episode. I'm in here in this tiny room, God bless, hot air all around me, parched, cannot take a single drink because I know with the new setup, it is much less feasible for me to get up and sneak a bathroom break.
Yeah, you can't go behind the cameras now.
I know.
Yeah.
We are going to get it, Cole. We're going to get it sponsored though. Like we'll get like some
Because I can't
toilet
sit here
paper sponsor for
thirsty.
For
Dude
Zoe's
wipes.
Tinkle. Yeah, there you go. This Zoe's Tinkle break is sponsored by Dude Wipes.
Anyway.
I know a friend of mine. We went up to the University of Illinois. Shout out to ILL football game tailgate, and a friend of mine up there, one of my closest friends, still hits it pretty hard. My wife, who's new to the scene of anything Chris Pondoff and Chris Pondoff related, she was a big fucking dork. Grew up in L.A. Never did a drug. Nothing.
She's very sweet.
I mean, like, went to Fuller Seminary, wore a skirt down to her ankles, probably never shaved. I'm just kidding. But not that conservative. We'll cut that. She's great.
No, keep going. You're doing great.
But she met my friend, and my friend did a shot of Rumpelmans, and he tested his sugar, and it was like 460. And his wife's just sitting there, and my wife, Ashley, is like, oh my God, this guy's going to die in front of me.
Right.
Why is his wife, KK, not doing anything? And she goes, oh, it's fine. It spikes all the time when he shoots Rumpelmans. And he goes, I'll be better in a minute. And then it did start kind of coming back down in between shots, but it's such a
In between shots.
regular situation. Like his kids, we were just sitting around the tailgate, and he tested it because I probably said, "What's that sugar up to?" And yeah, he gets it put up there, but you don't have to worry about that anymore.
No,
Right? Yeah,
no.
How long you been sober?
10 years.
My man.
Congratulations. Wow.
And this is I'm excited to have you on because, we've met here at IRC a couple times in Jacob's office, and all I know about you, Cole, is Jacob said, you got to get on your podcast. He's fucking crazy.
Hell yeah! Yes, Cole.
So,
You're not giving fucking crazy, I will say. You're like, you have it under wraps.
I got it under wraps. I don't know.
Maybe you can teach me a thing or two.
yeah, because it's not under wraps in the blue chair.
No. My wife taught me patience.
Oh, very
She
nice.
tested it.
Very nice.
Oh,
All right.
God.
Yeah.
As a wife
Do
should.
you guys have kids?
She had 2 kids.
Okay.
2 kids.
Kids will do that too, with
Yeah.
patience. Every day. Couldn't do it. So
Like adults do too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Surely.
Yeah.
Leaving
Especially
space.
in airports. So you grew up St. Louis?
I grew up like Wildwood. Yeah, Wildwood.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
so
Lafayette? Are you a Lancer?
here's the deal, dude. I'm not bougie.
I'm screaming.
All
Right.
We grew up on a farm. We were very poor. My dad, he's fucking batshit crazy.
Yes and amen.
So we got this farm. He was like, he knew the guy that was living in the old farmhouse, and he knew they were foreclosing on the property. And he
Okay.
was down there like stealing the mail
I'm screaming.
and bought this place off the auction room floor.
Nice.
And then he went in and like rehabbed it, him and my mom. And so we went to school. Yeah, all these kids are like bougie and stuff. And
And you lived in the neighborhood with them.
we were right on the edge of like Franklin County
God,
and
you sound like me.
St. Louis County. So like half the land was in Franklin County, St. Louis County. But yeah, so I should have went there, but I went to Eureka to play football.
Okay.
Wait, explain to me.
Coach Shelton,
All right.
Coach Shelton.
Now all three
I
people-
remember him. Yeah.
was he not your coach?
He was not. Sumner was my coach. I played with Cam Jansen.
So I was just going to ask you about Cam.
We played on the same football team.
That's
And he was like a
my-
blocker for me. I was a running back. So he played in the backfield with me.
I got to text him right now.
What year at Eureka were you?
Gosh damn it, dude. I went to alternative school. I went there freshman
Ooh.
year. I want to say it was 99, 2000.
Okay.
And then I transferred to ILC,
Okay.
which is like an alternative school because I was just, going down a bad path,
An alternative school was.
So,
Do you
yeah.
feel like that ended up being better for you?
It was
Or-
better for me. They got me through.
Oh, good.
Definitely
Great.
got me through. Yeah.
So is it because the recovery high school stuff that we learned about with the Aspires doing when we went to that event. I mean, that's a newer concept.
Well,
and
what
it's-
he's talking about is different, I think.
right? Yeah, that exactly.
Okay.
That's what I'm saying. But back when we used to call it BD school because behavior disorder is what they.
Well, pretty much that's what it was.
And I think it's a pretty much, at least to your point, it is behavioral. But if you were kicked out of school for smoking too much weed in the bathroom, that's where you end up.
Right,
So
yeah.
it's kind of, it was just like the.
Yeah, it was like a space for people who needed one-on-one attention to receive it, and it was just alternative schools just a lot of times are reactive instead of proactive, and it sucks, but they do get people through.
Yeah.
And I wish just the regular school system would be able to allow students the time they need one-on-one. And anyway, they're great. I was just curious.
Zoe's
Yeah.
always going to solve all the world's problems.
Hell no.
Before she
I just pick them out. I just like to bitch. Oh, leaving space for that also. Okay, we can move on.
So you went to Eureka, played football with. So are you a 83 or 84?
82.
Oh, you're an 82.
Yeah, yeah.
So okay, I'm an 83.
Okay.
Cam's an 83 or 84.
He's an 83 too.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he's 83.
yeah.
Have you met him out here?
I have. I've run into him out here a couple times.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's come out and we've been doing some podcasts together, trying to do more work. So yeah, we got to all hang out for sure.
He's got some hands on him, dude. Them things are like
Yeah.
that, man. I like shook his hand. I'm like, gosh damn, dude. It's like
Yeah.
3 times the size of my hand.
He really fucking struggled with Percocets in
Yeah.
the league, and he had money, and his job was to fight, and you can't like take an off night because
Well, no.
when you're the fighter, you're not there to score goals, right? So if you don't answer the bell, like tell Lou Lamoriello no and see what happens.
Oh yeah, they used to call him the bowling ball on ice.
Nah, well,
I remember seeing
Kim?
that. And then, yeah, when they did
Yeah.
like, the little newspaper articles and stuff when he
Yeah.
was still in high school. That's what they called him, man.
That's how I knew, like, when he came on the podcast, and I was like nervous because Chris was telling me like he's a sports guy, like and I was like I'm scared. But then he told me that, and it was like I knew our energies aligned because my whole family used to tell me and explain me to other people as a kid as a bull in a china shop,
Yeah.
and that's Cam, and that's me.
it's funny. You were a bull,
And-
I was the elephant.
And we don't have to. Anyway, I love Cam, and I believe the bowling ball.
Oh,
The
yeah.
bowling
You-
ball
it-
moment.
that shoe fits.
Yeah.
Definitely.
So were you what in high school were you getting into that got you into the alternative? Was it behavior or were you drinking and using?
Well,
Both?
so
All of the above?
my dad and brother, they were this is like when heroin like first hit the scene, and my dad and brother were living on this farm that so me and my mom, we left, moved to Jefferson County, and my dad and brother stayed on the farm.
Jeff Co, baby, right
Okay.
here. I can't believe I'm sharing a couch with the Jeff Co man.
Oh, you're from Jefferson County?
Yeah, I was a
Okay.
Segment kid.
Okay, a Seckman
So
kid.
we can go foot to foot.
Okay. So they were living on this farm, and my mom, she's like a saint. She'd never done a drug in her life.
My ashy.
She got a job with the bus company and would drive me into school. I'd get on the bus and ride it the whole route to go to the schools because she didn't want to pull me out of that school because I was like so scared. And she was an amazing woman. And my brother and dad, they were involved in drugs.
Okay.
And they were selling heroin.
Oh,
And my
wow.
brother's going to high school and he's selling heroin.
Wow.
And these coaches, my brother was in
an
school
athlete?
suspension. No, he was not. He was in school suspension with my football coach. So they knew.
Your football coach ran in school suspension? Oh,
Yeah.
fuck. That would be the worst in schools. I've done a lot of in-school suspensions, and they were usually with teachers that would just sleep at the desk. But a football coach, oh, you ain't
Yeah.
getting away with shit. That's how it
Wrestling
should be
coach.
done. Well,
Oh yeah.
Wrestling coach was my high school.
that's
And
pretty smart.
Terrifying, both
Yeah.
of them.
Right.
And so they were using heroin and stuff, man. I was just like smoking pot and stuff.
Yeah.
And
Heroin's hard for high school.
well, yeah. And my brother, man, he was selling it. Like,
Fucking
to all
Franklin
these-
and Jeff Co, man.
And
I'm
we're like these
shaming.
poor kids, and then you got these rich kids, man. They're like
doing blow.
selling
Yeah.
all their parents' jewelry and shit, to supply their habit and stuff. And I remember that was one thing they said. They said, you need to stay away from them. And my mom was like, adamant on it. And I was like, man, I just can't see abandoning my dad and my brother. That's family.
Yeah,
I can't
get
do that, you know?
Sure.
And so, of course, I like bucked the system. And
So your mom and dad were separated, divorced?
they were separated,
Okay.
yeah. And people always ask me, they're like, how did they ever meet? And I'm like, high school. They're like, you know, they got married out of high school, you know.
Sure.
Yeah.
My dad, he was very like verbally, physically abusive with her. So finally she left, and I was like, I can't let my mom leave and just by herself. So I went
Yeah.
with her, and my brother stayed with my
Good man.
dad. And
How close are you and your brother age-wise?
2 years.
Are you younger?
I'm younger. Yeah, I'm younger.
The youngest, I feel like always is like, I need to take care of, you know, like I have to maintain the loyalty.
Yeah.
And I also have to take care of whatever isn't happening. It's like, especially as a guy, like I can't imagine that. I'm the youngest, but grew up a girl, and then I had 2 older brothers. So it's like a different kind of responsibility.
Oh yeah.
But I can't imagine having to be in your shoes.
Yeah. They eventually like kicked me out of the football team. So I broke my leg, and then
Whoa.
I was like working on getting it better. And finally they're like, dude, you're just like getting out of control.
With what?
I was just, you know, I just resisted them, and I was out there, and I was like, I remember this was like the last straw with the football coach. I remember I got arrested. We were at like U.S. Ice Complex. I think that's what it was called, down in Chesterfield.
Chesterfield, the appreciator.
So we're down there. We're watching like a hockey game down there,
Been thrown
right?
out of there quite a bit.
And I'm coming out, and I go to Eureka. I'm friends with all these guys from Lafayette. And we're coming out, and we're playing Marquette. And next thing I know, this guy's like, hey, you. And I'm like, what? And he's like, yeah, that's the guy. And then there's a dozen of these got kids. And I'm like, what the fuck? And I'm like, yeah, we're going to beat your ass.
Uh-oh,
and
there
I'm
we
like,
go.
I'm like trying to get them outside, try to even the odds.
Sure.
And then I had this buddy, John. He comes up, he's like, fuck you. And I'm like, well, now we're fighting. So
Yeah.
I start fighting
You
this
had
guy.
it,
Yeah.
just as you had it settled, he's the bowling. John's the fucking bowling ball.
John,
Yeah.
he's a bowling ball too. Yeah. He was like a wrestler and like did some cage fighting.
Oh,
you
wow.
know? So
He's
we get
about
in
to
there,
do
we're-
some more,
we're
sounds
fighting
like.
these guys, and like, you know, we beat up about 8 of these guys.
Hell yeah.
And Chesterfield cop coming in to break it up, and I got a dozen guys here. I'm just swinging. I punched this cop in his fucking
Yeah.
face.
Ooh.
Yeah, and they took me to jail for
That'll
it.
land you a night.
Yeah, well, it landed me more than a night.
Oh, shit.
So what they did was, when they put me in the car and they took me down there, I was like, dude, I got jumped by 12 guys. About 12 guys.
Right, I was doing your job until you got there,
there we
big
go.
guy. You
And
didn't
I
give me
said,
a...
It was an accident. And fucking they said, well, you kicked the cop when we were putting you in the car. And I'm like, that's a fucking lie. And so they're like, we're holding you here. And I was trying to get my mom to get a lawyer
Yeah.
to like fight it. And I was like, we can just sue Chesterfield, you know, because they're like making shit up. And I have like 20 witnesses because all my
Right.
friends are out there. They seen that didn't happen.
Right.
And so my uncle's like in AA, and my mom's brother. He's the second oldest, and he's like, I know a lawyer that's in AA, and he sends that guy over there, and he says, listen, this is what's going to happen. They're going to push this off as long as they can, and you're going to sit in juvenile detention for probably 8 months to a year before you even see a fucking judge. So if you plea out to probation till you're 17,
Yeah.
they'll let you out. And I'm like, no, man, I don't want to do that. And my mom's like, just do it. And I said, okay. And I got out, and my football coach, he's like, well, you don't look too bad, you know,
Yeah,
for getting
right. You
jumped.
get dinged up.
And they're like, but you're not playing football no more because you cannot like respect our boundary. We're telling you to stay away from your dad and your brother. They're bad news. And I'm like, I'm just stubborn, you know. I'm like, that's my family.
Yeah.
And
Oh,
I won't do that
right.
to them, you
Not
know.
stubborn,
I,
yeah.
I want to be with them, you
Let
know.
me pause you real quick, Colt. Where you're at today, how do you feel about that conversation? I'm just curious, and I'm not saying they
I think
were right
that,
or wrong.
man, gosh damn it.
Because you used a pretty healthy word there.
Yeah.
Like that word
the
boundary is a healthy word.
It is, dude, and it's important.
Right.
It is, man. And here's the deal with boundaries is, man, some people aren't going to get better, you know. My dad's still in active addiction. My brother, he just celebrated 13 years last week.
Really?
Yeah.
That's incredible.
And he built
Good
a
for
life with a
him.
woman, dude. Got a kid, got another one on the way.
Oh.
Lives down in Branson, man.
You guys are close
And
now?
oh yeah, we're like,
I love that.
listen,
I just
when
got
we were in
goosebumps.
active addiction, we're like damn near fist fighting, you know.
Yeah.
And today
that
we're like best
something?
friends. I talk to him every day, man.
Yeah.
So my dad, he's in active addiction. He pisses me off. Okay. But I
Yeah.
look back on like some of the shit when I'm like away from him, and I laugh about it. You know,
Right.
the crazy shit he does, but he's 70 years old, man. He's not going to change. He's been to multiple treatments.
And I want to unpack that a little bit, but are you resentful towards the football team, or are the coach and them, or do you think
I'm not, because that guy, he was like, this guy was great to him. His name was Coach Sumner, and he was amazing, dude. I played like junior football, and then he's the one who got me over there.
Yeah.
Because he's like, I'll guarantee we'll get you a scholarship to some kind of school, and
Sure.
you'll get an education
Right,
after
right.
this.
Yeah.
You know, like I'm like logical. I'm like, okay, I could get a scholarship, get an education. I'm not thinking like I'm gonna go play pro football.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I don't have that.
No,
size,
right,
But
but
I'll get an
you're- yes.
education out of it. Free
100%.
education is what I was thinking.
Yeah, that's
You
the
know?
that's the game.
Yeah, and he gave me so many chances.
Did you love football?
I did love football.
You
I
still
did.
like you watch? Are you a big fan?
I watch it. I don't watch it like
rabid?
I used to. You know, that one hurts.
Yeah,
You
man.
know, so because I was like, I transferred there to play, and then it's like I left all my friends back at Lafayette, and you know, it was a tough one.
I used to. There's some hockey coaches I have that did the right thing as much as I hated them for it in the moment. I like look back and I'm like, man, and still like we've like friends and I thanked them, and because I've learned a lot through the hard way. And I'm like, that guy actually had my best interest and needed to do that.
100%.
When you said the word boundary, that's what made me curious, because there's not a lot of healthy, coaches out there that always practice that, and what, especially if you're good,
Yeah.
you know what I mean, and can bend some rules and not care as much about the human being. Not, I mean, all of them. I've just heard horror stories of. So when you said there was a boundary, and the boundary was, don't hang out with your dad and your brother who are using and selling heroin.
Is that a
that's all-
boundary or a rule? It's like a boundary is like when somebody is making a decision for how they're going to choose to act, what they will and will not allow. And it just seemed like someone was trying to give you a rule. They were trying to tell you how to act or how to not act if you wanted what they had to offer. And you were like, I'm choosing my family.
Right. Yeah. And my mom she was like, you got to stay away from him. You know,
Sure.
my mom,
That's
though,
like a
that's
warning.
her baby boy.
Well,
her
and
firstborn.
her
She's sticking up for him no
Big
matter
T
what.
trauma. Like, she was like, I had to deal with this shit for years, so you stay away from him. Like, don't make the mistakes I did.
Oh, yeah, man.
Yeah, that's an impossible decision for a high school kid to make, and it's not your fault of the football coach. I mean, the accountability is on your fucking old man here,
Yeah.
who's doing
Right.
and using and selling heroin. So, yeah, that's tough. But you get kicked off the team after that,
Yeah.
not for the arrest. Not
No,
for the
no,
fight.
dude. They ended up getting arrested. They ended up going to prison. I remember it. It was very embarrassing because it was in
Wait,
the,
no. What I meant is,
Oh.
you didn't get kicked off the football team for your hitting the cop and going to jail. That wasn't what it was. You said it was for not staying away from dad and brother.
and they're
Getting into
like,
trouble.
this is what led to that.
Okay.
Like, you're hanging around the wrong crowd.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And now you're becoming that person that other people aren't going to want their kids around.
Yeah.
Like, you're that bad person. And I'm like, and
Yeah.
I couldn't see it, you know.
Sure, of course
Mm-hmm.
not. I mean, that's
How dare you?
so that's it with football. And you're a junior.
I was a freshman.
Oh, you were. Oh, wow.
Yeah, I was a
A
freshman.
freshman when you got jumped by 12 dudes?
Yeah. Yeah. So I was 16, so they put me on probation until I was 17. That was the deal. I'm like, okay, this is like 7 months. You know?
Right.
If they could have convicted me of that, they would have. You know what I'm
Right,
saying?
yeah.
They'd have pushed that to the limit because they knew like the last name stuck out there in that St. Louis County, in that area. So that when they like ran the name, they're like, oh, you're related to
Yeah.
Josh and Tim.
And you're like, by no choice, like,
Yeah. Anytime I get pulled over, that
So
would happen.
hard.
They'd just like tear my shit apart, dude, and they would fuck with me. It was horrible, man, growing up like that, you know?
yeah, never feeling
So-
safe.
And I had like great friends that like supported me. And I still got a couple of them today that are like involved in my life. They've always been there for me.
Yeah.
You know, always had my back, dude. Even when I was in prison, I had the one, my buddy Gareth, man. Him and his wife wrote me, and I've been friends with
I think
him.
it's the same Gareth.
Not a shot.
Not a
No.
shot. No, we know a Gareth.
And him and his wife, I've known his wife since first grade. And, they wrote me letters when I was in prison. Even when I got out and went to sober living, they came and visited me. So they've been supportive. They still are, They've always been there for me.
How old were you when you got arrested?
For that?
Yeah, well, when you went to prison, yeah.
Oh, when I went to prison, man, I was 32.
Okay, so we got a while to get
I dodged
there.
them. Yeah, I dodged them
I'm
for
screaming.
a long time, dude. I used my alias name, Cole. So my real name's Jacob.
All right.
That's my first name. So when they would like pull people over,
I think
for
I noticed
me,
that from your email address.
Yeah, so everyone was
got
like, "Who the fuck is Jacob?"
Right.
So yeah,
Next time, change your
That's what
last
Jacob wants you to
change my
think.
last name. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
next
now
time
they
his
have
last
that in the
name out of
computer when they get pulled over. Alias name Cole.
I'm
So-
screaming.
So high school, then you start fucking around in high school, and that's when you got sent to the alternative school.
So yeah, I started. I went there, man, and I had trouble there too, man. I had this counselor, and she was great. Her husband was actually a fucking goalie for the Blues. Her name was, I can't remember what his name was. Her name was Brenda Casey. And dude,
Husband's name John.
John Casey, that's it. Yep.
Brenda sounds like the more important half of that whole.
But she was like, dude, she
She
had
the
that
one that got beat
tattoo.
by
She was
Eiserman?
great.
Tell that to Steve Eiserman. Fuck. He was having a good day. Thanks, Cole. In John Casey's defense, he stood on his fucking head that series. The first game we got beat like 8-0 after Fuhr got hurt. Do you remember this? So
I don't.
Grant Fuhr got his fucking knee ripped off. We were gonna.
Is
win
this
second.
96?
Yeah. The Avs won. Grant Fuhr, Pronger, two hands, Nick Kiprios into Fuhr. Fuhr's knee blown. Brings in John Casey, and now we got the Red Wings. And we took them to 7, and Steve Eiserman scored from just outside the fucking red line, in between the red line and the blue line. Murray Barron was given a little bit of a screen, but tucked it right over Casey's shoulder under the crossbar. I cried on my floor like somebody just shot my dog. It was
man,
at a sporting event. I was
I
in
just
fifth
brought up
grade.
a sore spot, huh?
You
Was
sure
that
did.
to go to the Western
That would
Conference
have gone
Finals?
to play the Avs that year, I think in '96. Yeah, the UE Group year where he beat the Panthers.
Was that Gretzky? Did Gretzky give that puck away?
Some people like to say that he coughed it up at center.
What do you think?
I was just gonna say Wayne.
That's
all I. That's why I didn't say it. I opened my mouth and then closed it.
Back to Brenda. So she's your counselor at the alternative school.
Yeah.
Are you are you fighting and stuff? Like you getting into fights at school or?
No. They were like, okay, they were very strict on that, dude. No physical stuff. You're out.
Got it.
You're gone. And they would go by quarters. So you'd have to do like 8 weeks, and then you would get an extra credit for like working a job.
Oh, cool.
Which I never worked a job. I was like selling pot back then.
Screaming.
So
You didn't get any
They didn't
extra
give you
credit for that?
No, they didn't give me credit for that, man. I used to pay a
Fuckers.
guy, his fucking sister owned like a landscaping company, and I would be like, hey, yeah, I'll pay him in pot, and they'll fucking write me these slips, and I
So
got
to
a
be
couple
official.
credits for it. Yeah, I got a couple credits for it,
Hell yeah, you were working
But
hard.
the principal, she caught on to that, and she's like, nope, you're going to have to do some community service. And I'm like, oh, this sucks.
Damn.
Yeah.
Man, you keep trying to do it your way.
Man.
Fucking try to be
Yeah.
an entrepreneur.
Yeah, it just doesn't work like that, does it? No.
It's
My
the
way
theme of
didn't
this
work.
show.
No.
My way didn't work either. So
Do that for a long time, too.
you did.
Yeah.
So you do graduate high school.
Finally graduated, yeah.
And you said it earlier
It's a
when we
miracle.
started. You owe it. You said that school helped, did it for you, got you that graduation.
Yeah.
And then what? You go to college?
So no, I didn't go to college. No. So what? I got into some trouble. I got caught with some pots. I caught with some pot. I got set up by this guy. Right. He was a friend of my brother's, and he like took care of my uncle when he was dying of cancer.
Whoa.
And he was working with the DEA.
Beautiful.
Because he got caught with a shitload of fucking black tar heroin, and it was keeping him out of jail. And so, he had set me up. And my dad, dude, like the one time I should listen to my fucking dad.
Well-
he's like, steer clear of him, man. I'm telling you, he's a snitch.
You know it's bad if your old man's telling you
yeah,
to steer clear of him.
right? Well, I'm just thinking he's crazy,
Right,
You
sure.
know.
Yeah,
he
both
did. He
and.
set me up. He set me up, and I got
Damn,
put on
bro.
probation, and I did some work release, right?
How much?
Dude, it was in St. Louis County. They don't even have that program anymore.
Zoe probably doesn't know what
60
work release
days.
is.
60-day work release and 5 years probation.
So you sleep at jail, but you can leave to go to work.
Mm-hmm.
Come back.
Can you talk about what he did to
don't
set
have
you
to
up,
pay
or is
rent?
that something you'd rather not go
what
into?
he did to some, so what he did was he was like, hey man, I need some, I was going to bring him like a quarter pound of fucking pot.
It's kind of that's kind of a low Like,
Yeah.
he's not setting up big fish.
So this is like 2000, right? 2000. Yeah, right. Yeah, I'm thinking like you need some guys bigger than this, right?
QP.
They,
and
like I
shit.
said, what they were doing is my dad and brother had made such a name for him, and then now I've started making my name, and that's what I was saying when they would pull these guys over from coming from my house from buying this pot. They'd be like, "Where's Jacob? Who's Jacob?" And they're like,
Nice.
"We don't know fucking Jacob. No one knew that, you know." So that was like,
Whoa.
I go by Cole, so no one ever knew that. They just thought that was my first name.
Yeah.
What's
And,
your middle name?
My middle name is Cole.
Okay, I was
that's
like,
just
did
what
we
I go
just pull
by.
Cole out of nowhere, or
No, Cole,
did?
yeah,
Okay,
that's my middle name.
I'm
just
there.
Called by that all my life.
I thought you
But,
just picked one.
So I'm driving to meet this guy.
Did you just snort? You did.
Oh,
We
it
should
was a.
sponsor that. Okay.
I'm driving to meet this guy. Next thing I know, I can see a cop behind me. I'm switching lanes. He's switching with me. He pulls me over. And I got this shit on my lap, and I stick it in my pants. And so you can it's like a bulge now, you know. Did
Did you guys get new uniforms?
They pulled me right out
That
the
wasn't
fucking
gonna
car.
fit. That wasn't gonna fit up your back door.
No, Gosh, dang, be hollowed out
Not
like
with
a
that
Chippewa
attitude.
Indian, man.
Well,
You know?
you'd have to lube that up.
Anything
pretty
can be
good.
a
Guys.
butt plug if you got enough want to.
Fuck.
Is that the title?
Cole, Jacob, somebody
Not for people.
talk.
So they pulled me out. They got all these cops there. They bring the dog out, and they searched me like 5 times, you know. And they're going
Dog's
right,
going nuts.
They're going right for They're going right for my hiding spots, like where I usually hide
Okay.
it. And I don't have it there because I got it in my pants because I'm like
Wow.
a quarter mile from meeting this fucking guy. And they take me into
Always.
jail. They finally one cop
You
pulls
could
up
throw
my
it to
shirt,
this fucking guy.
and he sees the corner of like a baggie out of my pants.
Damn.
And he pulls it out, and we're like, we got him. And, you know, of course, they take me down there. And being my dad and brother have been in and out of prison, I know how, like, the justice system works.
Sure.
You know, of course, you get down there, and they're like, well, you're going to do 5 years in prison. You're going to get raped, you know. And I'm like, it's going to take you guys 8 months to even get a warrant for this.
So they were keeping a guy. They were letting a guy who got caught with black tar heroin.
There we go.
This guy just didn't
Out
get called.
of-
He got called with, like, a large amount.
Well, and so the DA's like, okay, you're good if you can help us get this fucking kid who's selling weed.
Well,
And-
he set up a lot more people than me.
But
Oh.
were they coming after you to get to your old man?
No, they were coming after me just to, like,
All right.
they were trying to get us all off the street, right?
Damn.
So my dad and brother were probably in prison at this time. They might have been, you know, because they were in and out of prison for like 10 years, man.
I've heard you say that a couple times. So they've been little revolving door situation.
Yeah, definitely a revolving door, man. So they got me on that. I got put on probation, and then I did the work release program. I remember that was the first time I did heroin.
Whoa.
really? While you were on work release?
So it was right before I got out of work release, like a week before, right? So I want you to know this about me is, at this point in time, I hate motherfuckers that use heroin because I've seen what it's done to my family.
Sure.
Yeah.
And so I've only seen black tar, right? I come home and I see my brother's got this plate of this white powder. I thought it was cocaine. And I did a line of it, and it was fucking
Wow.
fentanyl. It was fentanyl, man. Fentanyl really wasn't even around. Neither was China White. And I snorted a small line of it, and I was like, oh, I like this. You know?
Fucking lucky it didn't kill
Wow.
Exactly. And so I started dabbling with that, you know, for a little bit. And then...
you. That's funny. You adamantly hated heroin and people that did heroin, and one mistaken line takes over your fucking mind, man.
Yeah. And then I said, it was just like...
It's like pussy.
13 years of active addiction, man. I had my ups and downs and stuff, you know. And then after that, it was just horrible, you know. I got into, you know, started like using crack cocaine with my dad and then meth with other people, you know. And
Wow, so you were uppers and downers.
yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
All on work release?
No, this is like in between the next like 13 years
Did
of
you-
like active addiction.
But that's where it started.
Yeah, that's where it started.
Did you get caught using when you were on work release? Were you
No, I
pissing?
didn't because it was
Okay.
like the last 2 weeks I was there, you know. So
So you weren't pissing or anything,
no, I didn't take one drug test while I was there. They'd strip search me, you know.
just to make sure you weren't bringing stuff in. Yeah.
Yeah,
You
because
get
guys
used to
would
that
bring
after a
shit
while.
in
Right.
there. You see people like nodding off and shit, you know.
Bend over and cough.
They look hard.
Yeah.
Do they? I mean, do they?
No, they don't look hard. They strip search you. You're naked, and then they're like, you know, squat and cough.
Right.
You know. So
Takes a lot more than that to get a cell phone coughed out.
yeah.
Not that, just what I hear.
I don't know if I want to use that cell phone.
Well, It's. I swear I put it.
The only reason you should be using that phone is to call the Lord Jesus Christ because you're going to need your soul saved
Can you imagine
again.
if it rang while it was in there?
That's fucking sick.
Oh, goodness.
Better make sure you turn the ringer off.
At least
first.
Vibrate.
Keep the vibration on.
What's the... never mind.
ahead,
I'll
go
ask that later.
What?
What's the strangest thing you've ever heard anybody sneaking in through those means?
I'm gonna defer to Cole.
I've seen people sneak in, or like hear of them sneaking in like IV rigs. I'm like, that's just insane. I couldn't imagine that.
Up them.
Yep.
There was a girl. Well, I was in treatment. A girl snuck in a bunch of fucking pills in her upper box, and it caused a whole shakedown.
It's called a vagina.
So-
The vaginal canal.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
If you're gonna talk about it, it deserves a name.
Okay.
Box? Like, be fucking for real. Sick.
Sorry.
Pills come in bottles anyway. The hell?
Well,
Anyway.
it got me strip searched by a guy named Frank for the second time that fucking stay.
Oh, man.
What did she have in her vagina?
Pills.
Can they start to...
Well, I'm assuming they're in a bag.
Yeah. People have died from like balloons breaking when they swallow or...
Yeah.
Yeah, that's happened before. If something breaks and it gets all that goes right into your fucking blood system, you're done.
Soft tissue diffusion.
People like we're not joking. I've never boofed drugs, but I know a lot of people have. They always said ecstasy was better that way, and that's up. Been a lot of backdoor talk so far on this.
And my rule is that it's back there for a reason. We don't need to talk about it.
Comes out.
Yeah.
Not in.
Okay.
Yes and amen. Go Cole.
So did you stay in the area just running and gunning while after like in your 20s?
Yeah, like
So
the
in my
13-year
20s,
period.
man, it was... I would dodge a lot of like probation
Yeah.
and
You made a career out of this up to this point.
Oh, I mean, yeah. So my grandma lives in Baldwin, Missouri.
Okay.
My dad's got this cabin in Franklin County. My mom lives in Jefferson County. So every time I get in trouble with the probation
Right.
officer, be like, "Hey, man, I'm moving to my mom's,"
Right.
and then I get in trouble there, and I'm like, "Hey, man, I'm moving to St. Louis County and my grandma's," and they would like lose paperwork there on the violation.
Right.
Little Missouri,
When the
Missouri case
system
nut
isn't-
shuffle.
Yeah,
Efficient.
it was probably. I was like, "Oh, this worked out perfect." you
Right.
know?
It's actually
Yeah.
not that hard.
No, because they were going to send me to prison a couple times.
It is wild. I know this from like the foster care system. The communication county to county is. You'd think there was like this wall and fortress.
Right.
Then try to do it over the Mississippi River, and you act like you're different countries. It's insanity.
Yeah.
And it to the detriment of like people that need it for protection. To your advantage in this case. I mean, we're talking low level stuff, and they're not. And then they just don't have the time to chase down every possession probation. Like you're gonna go down to Arnold. Good, he's not our fucking problem anymore, right? We're here in Washington, or we're in Wildwood. Let him go fucking down to Arnold.
Right.
Yeah.
Hang out with Kurt.
Screaming.
Kurt's gonna get that water tower painted, aren't you?
If I have to run for Arnold mayor to get that passed through Congress, I will do it.
Is the mayor? Anyway.
I don't know whose jurisdiction the Arnold water tower paint job would be in, but I feel like the mayor would have a pretty good say in it.
And the city council, we did a little digging, my friend and I, and we're convinced there was some nefarious things going on with that contract. And if we had any attention span or want to, we would have investigated and brought that whole ring down.
You would have on the Arnold water tower. It's the color of our shirts right now.
Yeah, I actually just in a vacuum, I like this color better than a seafoam green, but you don't fuck with tradition like the Arnold water tower.
Cole's nodding in agreement.
I forget the amount of money, but the amount of money that they spent on paint on that thing for a job that nobody wanted done in the first place was astonishing.
Not as astonishing as when they painted the reflection pool, but we don't have to talk about that here.
Well, it was vandalized.
The tower or the reflection pool?
The reflection pool.
I'm missing something.
Shut up.
Well, I don't.
It's
yeah.
political.
Yeah,
Let's
okay.
move on.
Back to you, Cole.
It's like when you talk about sports and I like black out a little.
Damn
to our-
algae.
Back to our guest. So you just kind of were shuffling around between probation charges.
Yeah, yeah.
And at this point, you're using anything to get your hands on.
I'm using heroin.
So your drug of choice is heroin.
It's my drug of choice, yeah, heroin. And I'm dabbling in like cocaine and stuff because now, like, you know, like me and my dad, my brother, now we're all running together. You know, and now we're cutthroat too. You know, we're cutthroating each other.
Stakes are high.
So yeah. And
Are you trying to make money or are you trying to feed a habit?
both?
Right.
We're trying to do both.
Okay.
Right. And so we're selling, and then you know, eventually it got to where I was like selling heroin and I was smoking crack cocaine. You know, and we were all doing this together, man. And it was a train wreck, man.
Did you ever get your hands on that guy that set you up?
The guy that set me up.
Uh-huh.
No, because I sit there and think about that, and that's like that's a snitch, right? Now you're messing with like an informant, you know, and I think that's a whole nother charge. Believe me, I wanted to because I did run into him because I had a guy. There was a drought on fucking black tar. Black tar was going out, and China White was coming in, and I had a guy. He goes, "I'm getting it from Nick." That was the guy's name, and so I started buying heroin off of him. And then I was like getting it from other guys too. And then I stopped messing with the guy. The guy, he got busted again. He was growing weed in the basement. And the cops kicked his door in over in South City. And right down there off Crown Ouellette. And he set his dealer up. And
Oh my God.
And he lost that connection.
Where the fuck is the loyalty these days?
You know?
know?
God.
So, yeah. So he ended up losing that connection. And then my brother dealt with him a little bit, and then I think my brother actually went in there one time, and the guy, I think fucking the guy called up some guy my brother was selling heroin to and told him that fucking he needs to come get it from him because my brother was putting like cut on it, and my brother walked in there and smacked the shit out of him like, oh man, I've been waiting for that one, dude. My brother did it for me, you know, and my brother's not like a confrontational guy. He's like the opposite of me.
Okay.
You know, so... Yeah.
That's
Whoa.
what was China White. What deadlier than black tar? Was it as? I mean, it's not as
I
dangerous.
feel like black tar was better. It was a whole lot cheaper. I mean, you get 3 grams of that for $175, and then you buy a gram of this China White for the same price.
What was China White killing people? Like
I think they were both killing people.
Okay.
But not like this fucking fentanyl is.
Well, and the reason I bring that up is we've given tours and shit, and and Eric and I have said it. You almost wish you could go back to black tar heroin because it was quote unquote treatable, like
Right.
especially during MAT detox. These people are coming in on fentanyl, and it's a fucking all this precipitated withdrawal. And have you ever had that?
oh, dude. Yeah. Yeah.
Sorry, I've seen it. I didn't do heroin.
It's
but-
bad, yeah. I mean, I'm in Narcan.
Okay.
So, yeah, I remember one time I got Narcan. I thought I was having an asthma attack because, you know, my breathing got real bad. And so I'm now justifying that I got, like, asthma. I'm like, I got asthma, you know, and I can't breathe. And, you know, here's the reality. Like, I'm smoking crack cocaine, meth, and snorting heroin, right? I never was an IV user. So I was snorting it, so it's
Okay.
messing with my airway.
It never
Yeah.
graduated. You've never done IV heroin?
No,
That's
no.
It usually always leads to that.
Usually it
Because
does.
of a
You know?
business
They say
decision.
that's a whole nother addiction. My brother would tell me, they'd be like, man, you get like a rush off of it. So, and I've seen people like pulling it up, and I'm like, there's nothing in that fucking spoon. There's nothing on that cotton. Like, what are you shooting? It's a whole nother addiction
wow.
out here. You know, I don't know personally, but that's what
But
I
yeah,
hear.
I mean, you've been in the industry long enough.
Yeah. So, but yeah, it's my man. It sucks.
Fuck, I don't get that when I stab my tummy with my Zepbound.
No.
screaming.
You know,
You don't
And
get a
if-
rush?
and you know how that feels being a type 1er.
Oh yeah.
And you have that because type 1 you're born with, right?
They say that, man, and so I went to my doctor.
They used to call it juvenile diabetes, right?
Yeah, and I went to my doctor a couple months ago, and he's like, "I swear, I thought you were type 2." He goes,
So, like self-induced.
"Yeah,"
What?
and he goes, "But this is these blood tests that we got back. They're saying you're type 1."
Do you not know the difference?
I don't think I do.
So type 1 they used to call juvenile diabetes because you're born with the blood sugar condition and you need insulin forever. Type 2 is a lot of type 2 is. I mean, my old man developed it because of all the fucking whiskey and steak and got typed in and had to check his blood sugar. But you can beat that. Like you can by diet and healthy living get off of the insulin and it's beatable, if you will.
Yeah.
From what I know, I'm not a doctor, so
And
I
that's
don't
what
think
I was
anybody's
hoping for.
tuning in thinking
Yeah.
that I was a doctor.
No, that I was like
gotcha.
going to beat the diabetes and like could get off of it,
Yeah.
because I did
Sure.
the Trulicity shot that like curves your appetite.
Yeah,
Everyone's
yeah.
using the stuff for like weight loss and stuff.
When did you do that?
Man, I did it
Like before it was a fad, or
2021. Man, my doctor,
Yeah, that was
I
way
got
before this.
insurance, and he's like, "Man, let's try this."
I mean, it takes my fucking appetite away, man.
It
And
made me sick, man.
I can get like the next 18 hours, 24 hours after I take the shot, I'm like I nauseous.
Woozy?
Yeah,
Yeah.
and
That's what it does.
gassy. And I can't eat. Like I got to stop sign. But the maintenance periods now, I can't binge eat. I have a stop sign. You're fucking struggling with the coffee today, bro. I mean, taking a coffee bath. I'm not gonna ask if it's hazelnut. I got screamed at last time.
Fuck off. I don't know why it's so hard today.
So but they don't talk about it, like it takes the physiology away. Like I used to, and we're in touch with where our fucking dopamine's coming from, and nothing makes me happier than a pepperoni pizza.
Screaming.
I love snack cakes, man.
God, I like a snack cake.
Yeah, don't get it twisted.
If I have right when I'm done with lunch, I'm already thinking about like what's for. Are we having something fun for dinner?
Oh, yeah.
And it would make me look forward to it and kind of overtake my afternoon happiness. And if we were just like doing leftovers, or if, heaven forbid, Ashley was cooking something, it would be
Oh,
like,
my
shit.
God.
It would be like, fuck. And then I'd be like low.
I'm
But I don't
screaming.
do that on this shot. That's nothing. I don't have any of that. Like it really does help with like the obsession of food.
Yeah. I mean, I was down to 165.
Damn.
I'm 200 pounds.
I was going to say, you're pretty jacked,
You
too.
know?
I used to look like that.
I was like lean, but it was making me sick, man. It took a lot of my muscle away. Like
Yeah.
maybe very weak, but I remember I'd take that shot, and like the first 3 days, man, I wouldn't eat nothing.
It is. I've heard it. It's helping like beer drinker alcoholics
Yeah.
because imagine I couldn't put down 12 stags not on this thing. I couldn't imagine like because you get so fucking full and bloated.
Well, yeah. And like my doctor, he's like, if you overeat, you will physically get sick. And I did. I got physically sick a couple of
Puking?
times. Yeah, puking. And I'm like, oh my gosh, this is horrible. And then I went to my doctor and I'm like, dude, it helped for like the first like 6-8 months. And then after that, I got immune to it. And then my blood sugar, because he eliminated the fast acting insulin, and I was just doing the long lasting. And then my blood sugars were going back up to like 300 and 400. He goes, oh no, this isn't helping your blood sugar. This just curves your appetite so you don't eat and it doesn't go up. And so I was like, well,
It's a
let's
different-
get off this.
Yeah.
And I got off of it. Yeah.
That was a different go to war strategy.
Mm-hmm.
So talk to us if you don't, whatever you can share, whatever you're comfortable with. All is welcome. About what led you up to getting arrested, and going to prison.
So me and my dad were living in St. Clair, Missouri. Okay. So we're living out there together, and
Using every day.
we're using every day. Every day. My brother, he's in prison at this point. He got busted, went back to prison. And
Drug related charges.
Yeah, and they gave him, gosh, what the fuck did they give him? He did like 5 or 6 years on this last bit. I think they were trying to give him a 10 years prior persistent, which would be like 85%. And he got a little bit lower than that. He did 6 years. And then me and my dad were living out there. And
What prison?
gosh, man, them
In
fuckers,
Missouri?
they've been to every prison in Missouri.
I've been to Bonne Terre as a vendor.
Oh man, I went there on a rip one time.
I mean,
Yeah.
Bonne Terre. I mean, that's where they have the chambers down there, the
Yeah,
execution
yeah.
chambers. But that's unsettling.
Yeah.
We were doing a project down there and I had to go. Actually, the equipment we were installing was in their ad sag, which is the politically correct term for the hole.
Yeah.
And I've never been hit on so much in my life than when I went to that ad sag. God fucking bless you, Lord and Savior, that there was not like a mechanical failure on those door locks, because I wouldn't be here.
No.
You would have been squealing like a little piggy.
Yes, sir. Yes, and amen.
Sweet
I like
Kai.
have no idea what's going on in this conversation right now.
That's
I
probably
had to
pretty-
pee so bad.
You can sneak out.
No, I can't.
We got another hour.
I was also thinking, what time is it?
As long as we just
Oh,
wait for to keep the
6:02.
conversation going, I can just cut it out. So just nobody talk until she's out of frame.
no, I like this is going to be sponsored.
Okay.
Dude wipes.
God,
You're
I'm
good.
so
You're good.
sorry.
You're good.
Just don't take your coffee.
I'm not touching it. Just pills.
It's her medicine alarm went off, which is also something we're getting sponsored, Cole.
Did she say piddles?
Pills.
Oh.
Nah, maybe. I mean, so you're in St. Clair. Brother's away on drug charges.
He's on drug charges. Yeah.
Are you guys going to visit him or?
No, because I have a lot of pending charges now. And now I'm like,
Yeah, it seems like it's a
Dodging
place
the
you'd
law.
stay away from, right? When
yeah. I don't have a license because I've got so many drive while revokes. I've
start-
racked up a dozen drug felonies.
This is a common story of how, like, what they would call nonviolent drug offenses stack up to long prison sentences because instead of treatment, they lock you up, don't really set you up to succeed in a recovery program, in my opinion. And next thing you know, you're back out getting high. You get a DUI. You go away for a weekend, and then you have no license, but you're gonna keep driving to feed your addiction.
Oh yeah.
St. Clair, Missouri ain't walkable. You know what I mean? So you're driving.
Oh yeah. You're talking 60 miles from the city.
Yeah, so I know like a lot of people, they keep getting popped for the revokes, and finally the only option they have is we gotta fucking throw them in for a while and her and throw away the key. But that's part of a flawed
It is.
system.
I think I racked up about 9 driving while revokes. So I started paying people to drive me to do what I needed to do. So
Well, I mean, it's responsible.
you know,
responsible
I
to
have them drive me to the
driving.
methadone clinic. I'm like, okay, we're gonna go cop, and I tried getting on methadone to get off the heroin. And
You
then,
did?
Yeah,
When-
I was on the methadone for a long.
How long
like,
were you on
off.
methadone?
Man, the first time I went, it was down by the airport, and then the last time I went to the Rock Road. Counselor I had there, John, dude, he was great. I loved him, dude. He was a great guy.
What was it called? Do you remember?
Gosh, damn it, dude.
I only know of the methadone clinic left in Alton.
Yeah, I'm trying.
Maybe that's an Illinois thing.
I'm trying to think what it was called, man. I
Is
can't
it still
remember.
there?
It's still there, yeah.
So you
It's
can get methadone off the Rock Road.
off the Rock Road.
Where else do you know? Today?
There's some other places. There's some
I
like
need to
up in
know
North
this for drug
County. I think there's one in St. Charles. But yeah, I was trying to get off of it.
Let me ask you. I can nerd out on this for a little bit. Not to. I mean, this is important. Do you, if you're a Missouri resident, you have to go to a Missouri methadone clinic? Is it all state ran?
You know what? I don't think. I don't know how that works.
Me neither. I'm
I
curious.
can't say I do.
Yeah. Have to look it up.
I've seen people come over to the east side. There's a methadone clinic over there.
I
them
think
come
it's
over-
closed though. I think
Is
St.
it?
Louis one. I don't think that's open anymore.
Yeah, I remember
think
a
you have
guy
to go
used
Alton.
that guy that set me up. Man, he used to go there. He would cross over there because it was free. So he would get his
Yes.
methadone for
I know a
free. And
guy
I remember
that-
trying to go in there, and they're like, "No, man, you gotta like get on a waiting list."
Sure.
So
So was him and you both? Were you trying to get on methadone and get high, or get on methadone to just baseline your?
in my mind, I'm like, I got that criminal thinking. I'm like, I'm gonna get on methadone. I'm gonna make some money.
Got it.
And that never works because then what I started doing was like, oh man, I'm because the dosage, you just keep increasing that dose. I'd see people in there like slobber and shit, and I'm like, they're like, the doctor won't up my dose, and I'm like, I hope you didn't drive here.
So methadone,
Like, holy
there's not a
shit.
ceiling,
Dude, I think it might top off at like 300 milligrams.
but you're pretty high.
Dude, if I was on like I remember the first time I did methadone, it was like this much liquid. I took it, I was sick for 3 days. That's how potent it was. And that's when like black tar was around. And then eventually I got up to around 180 milligrams.
That's a lot.
And when they locked me up, that was the worst sickness I ever had.
Coming off of that,
Coming off of that, I
I've
was
heard
sick
that
for
too about
months.
methadone. Coming
Months.
off methadone is fucking brutal.
Oh, it was miserable, dude.
Like not like Suboxone is feasible.
Yeah.
Coming off A good friend of mine is and it's been on and shared it. Like really slowly stepping down. The goal is to be completely off, and
It is.
it's been a hell. It's a journey. She's such a fucking warrior. I love her to death, and it is. We can only we're there. Her community. She's got to go through it, and we can cheer her on and hold her hand. But man, she's a baller.
Yeah.
It is so. Which is, I think, why it's kind of a phased out MAT, right? I mean, it was Suboxone's the way, and I wonder because of the more potent shit out there, or because methadone is a little dated because it's so hard to.
Well, that thing you got to go in there every day.
Every
and
day.
then I remember last time I went, man, somebody's kid, the guy had like a take home, and their kid got a hold of it and died. So they're
Oh, my
like, "Oh yeah,
God.
you have to come in every day." Like I'm talking Christmas,
Right.
and everything, and then you can phase up and get like. Every month you take a drug test. And every month that you pass a drug test, they'll phase you up like, okay, we'll give you a day take home. And then eventually, after a year, if you can drop clean for a year, they'll give you 2 weeks worth of take homes, And the point of it is to get off the shit or maintain.
Well, and I do agree with the accountability system. You got to show us that you want this.
Mm-hmm. Well, I'd see people in there that I'm like, how long have you been going here? 7 years. You still come here every
shit.
fucking day for 7 years because they're using it as a crutch because they're still out there chasing
Yeah.
the heroin at
Now-
that point in time.
The warrior gal I'm talking about, it's part of her recovery, like to do it's a restructure,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
and it just like a meeting. It's and actually does a lot of work supporting the new women that are going to this place. So, but I get what you're saying. If you're still out running and gunning, and
Yeah.
you're
Yeah.
going-
So I was having this guy drive me up there, man, and he was a friend of mine at that time,
Right.
He would drive me up there and shit, and that's when I went to prison. He set me up,
Wow.
So this is what led you to this last time.
Yeah. So I got locked up and they put a bond on me. I couldn't post. They put like $100,000 bond on me, cash only. And my dad's up there trying to put his property up to get me out, and they're like, it's worth like $50,000, and then we get it dropped, and they'd be like, well, hold on, his property's only worth $40,000. I'm like, what the fuck? They were waiting because I had a dozen drug felonies, and they're waiting for all these warrants to hit to lock me up. So what happened was I was in a hotel room with this girl I was dating, and
Stratford Inn.
no. I was like way out in Sullivan, Missouri, or some shit, dude, in some shithole like Family Motor Inn or something, and we were getting ready to switch hotels, and I was like, hey man, go home. He'd been gone for 2 weeks. This guy was like 25, I'm probably 30, 31, 32. And I said, go home and pick me up in the morning, or go to the methadone clinic, cop, and then we'll switch hotels. And I'm in there with my girlfriend, and I get a knock on the door at about fucking like 1 o'clock, and she goes, it's Bobby. And I
AM?
said, AM.
Okay.
And she goes, it's Bobby. And I look out the peephole and I see him. I'm like, okay, go put some clothes on.
Yeah.
I opened up the fucking door.
You were handling business.
Yeah, right? Yeah, that just got done, right?
Yeah. God damn it.
And I was like, go put some clothes on. And I look out the peephole. I see Bobby open up the door. He's got the cops on both sides of the door. He set me up. So what happened was he'd been gone for 2 weeks. His mom had reported him missing. So when I gave him some heroin to leave, he did a shot of heroin in the parking lot, nodded out, and was I don't know what he's thinking. He's probably thinking like, I ain't going to go home. I'll just wait out here and knock on the door at 5 a.m.
Sure.
So they get him out, bust him with a rig, and he sets me up, and they come in, and they called me a fucking couple grams of heroin, and then they took me to jail, they took her to jail, and they let him go. And
You've been on the short end of this stick a couple times now.
oh yeah, and this one was bad. This one really sucked.
Cole, are you? And I don't know your recovery story yet, but are you a faithful guy?
Very. Yeah, at that point in time, I was kind of on the fence.
Sure. I mean, I
'cause-
just feel God like. All right, we're
God showed up so many
fucking.
times.
We got to get this. We got to get this kid set up. So I mean, it's just
yeah.
like because it seems to keep happening and
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
He set me up,
pattern recognition.
and then so this part of it, this. I said this to you in Jacob's office, right?
Yeah.
The stabbing,
Yeah.
right?
Oh.
The stabbing, right? So about a year before that,
That was the only peek into He's got a fucking crazy fucking story. Yeah. Go ahead.
So I'm living. Me and my dad were living in St. Clair, and I go to the hospital because I'm having breathing troubles, and they're like, "We need to admit you." And I was like, "This is the insanity of addiction, right?" I'm like, "Oh no, I don't have enough heroin to get me through." Right. So I said, "I'm gonna sign myself out."
Yep.
I leave. I go cop. I come home, and I call my buddy Taco up. I said, "Listen, man, I need you to drive me back to the city to cop again and drop me off at the hospital." And I remember it was right after Christmas. It was January.
Is Taco a good enough friend to just pick you up, or are you going to charge you for this ride?
Taco, I take care of Taco because you know what? He would keep eye on my fucking dad. And my dad is a handful.
If you got a friend named
Thank
Taco,
you, Taco.
take care of Taco.
Shout out, T-Man.
Taco was a good ass dude.
All
Okay,
right, good. I like
and
it.
I tell Taco, I come home and I pick up Taco I was messing around with some shit, and then I'm missing all these clothes my mom bought me for Christmas. And I'm like, my dad was running around with this guy, and he had a girlfriend that he would like kind of pimp out.
Your dad or the guy?
The guy. So his girlfriend, is the mother of his children, would go out and like turn tricks, get heroin, and then bring it back to him. Well, they were trying to buy heroin, and they were like klepto thieves. They would just steal anything.
Sure.
And I told him, I said, I know they stole that shit. You go back and get it. I'm not going to sell you this heroin. And he comes back like 5 minutes later with like this basket of clothes I'd never seen. I'm like, where the fuck did you go? The fucking thrift store?
I'm screaming.
Stole the other.
And
Laundromat.
I'm like, get the fuck out of here. I'm not doing this with you. And then I can hear someone yelling at the front door, and I tell Taco, I said, that's them, Taco. And I'm going to let you know, I'm about 130 pounds.
All right,
and I'm like in bad shape. Like
sick
I'm
as fuck.
They're gonna admit me in the hospital. So this is how bad a shape I'm in. And I go out there, and I'm like, I'm gonna handle this because in my mind I look like I do today.
Yeah.
I go out to the front porch, and this guy's like 260 pounds. Oh. And
Verse 130.
Yeah.
The pimp.
Yeah.
I'm
Right, Braden. Right? His
screaming.
name's Braden, right?
Yeah.
And I go out there, and I'm having words with him, and I catch out the corner of my eye, I can see the girl, and she got comes in with a fucking brick.
Nice.
And it just
Been there before.
I caught it out the corner of my eye, and I moved my head, and then I punched her in the mouth. Okay, that's the only
Gotta
woman
do
I've
it.
ever punched, but
Coming at
I
you
felt
with a
like
brick,
she
bro.
deserved
I
it.
mean, she's coming at you with a brick.
Yeah,
Your
she would've hit
nervous
me in the
system
face.
don't know any better.
If she
Nervous
hit me in the
system
face,
don't
it'd
see
have shattered
gender.
my face.
Nervous system is not binary.
Right, yeah. Nervous system don't discriminate, baby. You come at me with a brick, I'm a...
Yeah. So then he grabs a hold of me, and we're on the front porch, and we go through the living room. The living room table, all the legs are busted off this because we done went over that thing.
Sure.
Into the kitchen. Kitchen table flips over. He tries throwing me down the stairs, throws me out a window.
Holy shit.
So then I get back in, and I get back in my room, and and I'm sitting there. I'm trying to I can barely breathe.
Is it because you wouldn't sell them the heroin?
Yeah. And so they came in. They were going to rob me, and so I'm sitting there. I'm trying to catch my breath.
Of what? They already took your clothes.
My clothes.
What? I mean, you've already.
Oh, they stole my clothes. Yeah, they're coming in
The
to get the
literal-
heroin because I wouldn't sell
No,
them
they're gonna
any.
take
I
all
wouldn't
your
sell my
drugs. Yeah,
dad
yeah,
any.
yeah.
And I'm sitting there in my room, and I can't breathe. And Taco's in there with me, and she's trying to get in my pockets to find my dope, and he's kind of shoving her back, and then my dad's trying to hold him back. And I said, man, I will fucking stab you. I'll cut you. And I had this little shaped like a banana. It was like a little 6-inch blade. Mm-hmm. It was a pocket knife. And he came and he fell on top of me, and I stabbed him a couple times. And next thing I know, I look over and I see the curtains and Taco's feet going out the window.
Oh,
right.
Taco went for a ride.
Taco said, oh, no, I'm not sticking around for this.
Hell no, Taco's
Taco
out.
went head first out, dude, like a story and a half up. Okay? I just seen his I
He will
picture
drive
his
you to
feet
the
and the fucking
hospital?
curtains going out the window. And then
he's not
the
sticking
guy
around.
comes back on me
Like you in
again,
Mexico.
and I stab him a couple more times. So I'm thinking in my brain, I think it's 5-6 times. So I got him 13 times.
You stabbed this motherfucker 13
Got him
times.
13 times. Got him good, man. And
I was like, yeah.
so I got them all up through here and shit, right? So and then I'll tell
Were
you,
you trying? Yeah.
I was trying to prove a point. Dude, if I don't do something, people are going to come in here and are going to start trying to rob me.
Yeah.
Right.
So we're going to make an example out of
Real
it.
quick, I'm going to ask a question I might already know the answer to. People on heroin less susceptible to feeling any sort of pain, I'm guessing. Is he feeling these 13 stabs, or
He ain't had no heroin yet.
Yeah, then why do you think
no,
he's
he
pissed?
felt it. He after I hit him, he was probably her adrenaline going. And then once I got him the second time, he laid back on that bed, and I remember him saying, he shanked me, Nancy. He shanked me. And I took the knife and I threw it in the closet. This is the fucking crazy thing. I go out and I sit on the front porch. And she's like, I can't believe you. I said, I'll fucking do it again, you know? I go out and sit on the front porch, and this is where I'm like, my life has gotten out of control.
Yeah,
You know, I've
you're sitting
realized
with what the
this.
fuck you just did
So
and
I'm
had
like-
to do to stay alive.
Right.
It's a little unmanageable.
I remember it's like a snowstorm. I'm sitting on the front porch. I'm covered in blood, and the cops pull up. So Taco called 911. The cops show up, and they're like, man, we just need to burn this place to the ground because they've been trying to bust me for years, and they just couldn't, you know. They come in, man. They take him out in an ambulance, and she's telling them that they came over, that we stole their food stamps or something, you know. Fucking they traded their food stamps to my dad for some dope, you know.
Yeah.
And they're like, we're taking you to jail. We're charging you a first-degree assault with a weapon. I'm like, there ain't a public defender that couldn't beat this case. I mean, there you can see the struggle through the house, and then on top of it, so I'd had my house raided a couple times, and they kicked in my bedroom door, and that's why I was like, he kicked in the door, you know. So they come in, and they're cutting out all the drywall, where the blood is. They strip me down to my underwear, and they're like, give us your underwear. I'm like, oh man, I got heroin in my underwear, and I got this like sewn up pocket, and I'm like, talked them into keeping my underwear. They put me in this paper jumpsuit, and then I faked the asthma attack. I was real good at this.
Right, because
They
your
would-
asthma was very bad.
Right. So I faked the asthma. I was like, I got to go to the hospital. And they would get me out of jail from like speeding tickets and shit. Driving while revokes. They take me to the hospital, and then I get out of there. I call someone to pick
Don't
me
get
up.
any ideas, though.
You know? So I get there, and I'm like, okay, once I get there, I'm bolting. No, dude. They had a dozen cops. They were waiting for me. And then they took me and charged me. And they said, we're going to charge you with first-degree assault with a weapon. You're going to do 15, 20 years. And so I remember calling my mom. And it was very embarrassing because, like I said, my mom doesn't live this lifestyle like we're living. I said, Mom, I need you to bring me some clothes.
Can
It's
she
important.
even comprehend it?
Oh, when she showed up, she was like, what the fuck? She showed up with a T-shirt. I'm in a paper jumpsuit and still got, like, blood on my hands and shit.
Damn.
And she's like, what the fuck? You have to get help. And I said, no. And this is insanity. I'm like, I have to go out and make enough money so I can hire a lawyer to beat this case. Because they're going to try to put me in prison for fucking 10, 15 years. And so, you know, a year later, I got busted. Bobby set me up, right?
Damn.
I'm sitting in there. This is God, right? This is my higher power working in my life in some weird fucking way, right?
Right.
So I'm sitting in county jail. I'm there for about 3 months. I'm trying to get a trustee job so I can eat better. And they're like, hey, you want a laundry job? I said, absolutely. They said, roll your shit up. I said, okay, cool. They said, we got to go pull some other guys out of another mod. They pulled the guy stabbed out of this mod.
Get the fuck out of here.
Yeah. Stick us in a 2-man cell together.
Did they know?
No. And it's insane because this is the jail that like fucking pulled me in to try to fucking, this is the jail they took me to, you know, when it happened.
Wow.
And they put us in this like trustee mod, and it's like two-man cells. And I'm like, well, now I'm healthy.
Yeah.
I'm probably 165 pounds. I'm like, we're going to fight. I can get a hold of him this time, you know. And we get in there, and we're like, hey, man, let's just squash this. And that was the deal. I was like, okay, cool. And we kind of become cordial, you know. You know, he's cleaning the cell. I'm stealing fucking cookies out of the kitchen and shit, dude. We're eating good.
So you're getting some cookies?
Yeah, so we're getting like, so I have access to the kitchen, the
Yeah.
whole jail, because I'm the laundry guy. And he's just like pushing trays. And we kind of become friends. You know what I'm saying? There's still that tension there.
Gotta be.
Because when I fucking
13
was,
stab wounds.
so when I talked to him, I like touched his belly one time, and he was like real defensive about it. So when I stabbed him, I hit his intestines, and it cut the bag, and his intestines like bunched up here. And God has blessed me because I didn't kill the guy, because I did get him.
Yeah,
like,
man.
I got him right here one time, about an inch from his heart. And I got him one. Sorry,
It's okay. Coffee's like empty now.
in the forearm where I could see it went in
Wow.
and where it came out, and the rest of it was just like up through here. He said it was 13 stab wounds. You know, that's why I know it was 13.
Yeah.
I thought it was 5, you know, or 6. I guess her adrenaline was going and it just was moving. So I get out of there, or he gets out of there, and I go to prison, and I run into him in prison. I was going to waive a parole hearing. And I hear someone say, hey, Shea, and, you know, that's my last name. And that's how they call you in prison is
Yeah,
by your
yeah.
last name. He called me Cole. He said, "Hey, Cole." I said, "What's up, dude?" I said, "Just got out like 3 months ago." He goes, "The PO violated me." That's what the guy said. "Well, what for?" He goes, "Well, I woke up in a bathtub and I was naked and they were throwing ice on me. I thought they were trying to kill me." And he said, "I took off running down the street and he said the cops caught him in front of Union Motor Mart naked.
Just
and
butt
fucking
naked.
butt naked in January. This
God.
guy's 300 pounds.
I like
Oh my God.
I like how the way the phrasing is, the PO violated me. Like, not my.
Wait, yeah. What's
I said, that's a pretty good reason to send you to prison. Dude.
I mean, like the fucking PO violated me. No, I got high as fuck. I fucking woke up throwing ice on me, and I took off butt naked running down the street, and I got arrested for it.
Thank you. I was like, well, if he was throwing ice on him, yeah, that sounds like the PO violate.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Yeah.
I'm there, and yeah.
So, yeah.
The comment like caught a charge. Like, well, you robbed somebody.
Yeah.
Right. No, just say I robbed a guy. Don't say I caught a charge for robbery. You know, but it's a whole lingo thing.
Oh, yeah. And I ended up having like a lawyer and a public defender, and I got this. They sent this public defender from St. Louis City. He did me better than any fucking lawyer did. Paid lawyer. I said, listen, just give me 7 years, send me to prison. I just want to do my time. Because they did offer me like drug court and shit. But I've seen that loop where people go in and it just, you know, and like my dad and my brother, where they start off with a 5-year sentence and they've been on probation for 15 years. I said, I just want to get out on parole.
So what did they did charge you with the first degree?
They did not.
What did you get
Whoa.
So
charged?
that's what kept me in prison so long. I got charged with, so I had 12 counts. One fucking, they kicked in my door, man, and they hit me with 5 counts of possession. It was some bullshit. It was like residue on a razor blade, residue on a baggie, residue on a tray. And they hit me with a fucking count of possession of a controlled substance on each one of those. So like half of them were shit like that on one raid. And then they caught me with like a quarter
What about the
ounce.
underwear heroin?
Yeah. Well, then eventually I had this little gal, dude. I ran with this little Italian gal.
Gotta watch out for the Italians, brother. We're
she
crazy.
was working with the feds.
Ooh.
So this guy down in
good.
Franklin County, man, he was fucking moving like pounds of fucking meth. And she was a heroin addict, and she kept racking up these cases, and she was working with them and set him up. And she set me up.
No fucking loyalty anymore.
Do you have trust issues?
Gosh damn it, dude. Right? So she did. She set me up, man. It was fucked up, man. That was one of my cases, and they caught me in the county jail with 17 grams of heroin I had in that fucking pocket of my underwear. They went right for it. So that's how I knew that she set me up, because she was the only one that knew. You know?
What were you gonna do with it? Sorry.
Well, when they took me to jail, I thought I was going on like a traffic, and I was gonna post bond because I had the money.
Okay.
And then they got me with that, and they got me on a introduction to a state and county facility.
So when Bobby set you up, you guys looked out 1 a.m. And the cops are there. That was just for a simple, because they found him with the rig, and and then they took it. And then how long from that day that you went to jail did you not get a freedom? Like from jail
23 months.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you were in jail for a few, and then they transferred you to.
So yeah, I did 7 months before I took a sentence.
Okay.
Yeah. And then when I was in there about a month after I got locked up, I had one of my homies roll through that I ran with on the streets, and he goes, "Dude," he goes, "I run into Bobby," and he goes, "Your gal ran off with him." She said that's her boyfriend now. I said, "Oh hell no, she's still taking my phone calls." And I said, "Oh hell no." So I'm playing it off because I think I'm gonna get out. And she goes, "When you get out, call me. I'm coming right to you." Well, about 6 months goes by, and I see Bobby in protective custody. It's holding cell 5. It's like a plate glass window. And he's like, "Hey, Cole, what's up?" And I was like,
He what up you?
"Yeah." Well, he didn't know that I knew yet.
But he knew you knew to set him. He set you up.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's some other stuff than
And
the
so
girlfriend.
I was like, when I hit the streets, I'm fucking you up. You know, I was screaming at him at this point. And then the guards come around the corner like, "What the fuck, Cole? You can't do that." And I told them the story, and they said, "Don't do it again." I go back, I call her, and she's like, "Well, what was he supposed to do?" Today I know this, right? Not everyone's built the same. Yeah. Like me, I was raised like, hey, if I get in trouble, I'm not going to take my fucking people down with me. You know, I'm going to own up to my shit. I'm going to deal with my consequences. And I realized that guy wasn't like that. he probably got the story that like when I got busted with the weed and they're like, you're going to get raped in prison and this and that. They probably pulled that on him and he was scared and he told on me.
That is grace right there. That is some fucking grace.
Yeah.
So, but what? That's fine and dandy. But he was hooking up with your girl.
Yeah. And then fucking she wrote me like when I got to the penitentiary and she says, listen, he takes care of me, gets me my dope. And that's what she was using me for. I mean, I'm not stupid. You know, I'm 130 pounds strung out.
Right.
And she was like this pretty young, like 25-year-old gal, you know. And that's why she was with me. It was a triangle. Like, I'm using him to drive me around to get my drugs and sell them. She's using me for my dope. And so it was a triangle of us all using each other.
Sure.
And when I got to prison, you know, I ended up getting to that's like a spiritual awakening later on down the road with that. But my the guy I stabbed, I ended up in prison with him up in Jefferson City. You know, they sent me to prison eventually. And I see him. I'm like, hey, man, you want to go to some NA meetings? I've been trying to get to these. And he's like, fuck that, man. Let's just hit the yard. And I'm like, just come with me, you know. And he came with me. And he was like, I think
Damn.
He said, I think I'm going to keep going to these. I think I'm going to get a sponsor.
The redemption arc? This is the dude you stabbed?
So this is the guy I stabbed, yeah.
Because he attacked you because you wouldn't sell him heroin?
Yeah. And so we're in there, and he gets this sponsor, dude. And he goes, Cole, man. He said, this changed my life.
And you invited him to NA?
Yeah.
And he's like bought in and you're still not bought in?
No, I'm like on the fence. I'm just going to go to meetings, dude. It's going to keep me sober. He says, man, work these steps, get a sponsor.
And it's a start. I just want to go to this meeting to keep me sober. Like, we got to flip that. Like, you can go to meetings and you can be sober. Like, not to keep me sober. Like, you can be sober and you can live this life in recovery. You can reach your hand back, like, but it starts off. I just need desperation, like you were just going just so it keep me sober.
I'll go with anybody.
Because I knew the solution was there,
right?
You know, because I'd seen it work for other people in the past.
But keeping me sober and getting
and
being sober, like keeping me sober is like dipping your toe into sobriety.
Yeah,
and then
right,
so
still
like,
in somebody else's hands.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's where I was at.
Yeah, and here's this guy you invited that you happen to fucking carve up. This is wild. You invited him in and he fucking leans in.
Yeah.
He was skeptical. He didn't want to go at first.
No.
This is a fucking movie. He wanted to lead, and then he leans in, gets a sponsor, and is now telling you, this changed my life.
He said, get off the fence. Yeah. And I said, I don't know, dude. And then, you know, I start seeing a change in him. This guy's becoming a totally different person. And so there's this guy here speaking the meeting, you know. I was like, this guy's the biggest asshole. I can't stand him, you know. But every time I would think about something, I'm like, it's kind of like, I feel like it's directed towards me, but not like
see a little bit too much of myself in this person.
So I asked this guy to sponsor me, you know.
Hell yeah, bold.
He starts to help me. He helped me change my life. All right.
Wow.
This guy, asked me one time. He said, I'm working through some steps. He goes, do you have any reservations? And I said, what's a reservation? Something you would go out and use over. I said, yeah. I said, I got this guy that my girlfriend ran off with. I said, I'm going to split his fucking head open when I get out of here. He goes, this guy saved your fucking life. I said, tell me, explain this one to me.
Right.
I said, I've been sitting in prison for 18 months, and I don't know when I'm fucking going home, right? Yeah, I'm stewing. And he goes, man, you could have sold someone some bad dope. You could have got killed. He names off all these things that, like, could have happened. And I'm tunnel vision. I said, nope, I'm gonna fucking pretty much kill the guy. You know, I'm going to beat his ass. And he goes, no, he said, this is what you're going to do. He says, you're going to run into him in a grocery store or gas station one day. And he says, and when you do, he says, you're going to go up and pay for his shit. I said, you must be on drugs.
Yeah, you're high.
Are you fucked up? No, not going to happen. Well, later on down the road, after I got out of prison, I pull up to a fucking gas station. And he's sitting catty corner.
You hate to see it.
So
you hate to see the Lord circle back. You
so
really
my wife's
do.
like, you're so confusing because you jump around in your stories, keep it on a timeline, but
time's a constant.
so I don't know how much time we got. That's why
You're
I'm
good.
That's why I'm jumping to this.
No, you're
No.
great. We got.
You're in the right room, Cole. Jacob.
So I ended up running into him at the gas station like years later after I moved home, and she's sitting there. They're down in the city. They're popping dope.
She's with him
Oh yeah.
when you saw him?
She's 7 months pregnant.
Oh,
And on
god
their
damn. I'm
second
not even a
kid.
boy, and I'm like freaking out.
And
Not
so, like,
looking
in
good,
my
is she?
mind, I've played this out 1,000 times.
Fuck you.
My cousin gave me a job because I couldn't get a job because of the stabbing. People weren't hiring
Right.
because it was a pending first-degree assault with the weapon. It
Sure,
was
sure. Yeah,
pending.
that's a tough one.
So he gave me this job, and he goes, pack up the job, man, and bring everything home, take a half a day. So I go, and I pack up this job, and I'm going to go to the gym, and for some reason,
How much clean time?
I got about 3.5, 4 years at this time.
That's substantial, man.
Yeah.
That's
Right?
life-changing.
So I've been out of prison for 2 years almost, or a year and a half. I pull up to the gas station to get a Coke. I'm going to go to the gym and work out. Like, who fucking does this?
Right.
And I pull up, and he's caddy corner. I'm like, he's over there at the squeegee and shit, you know? And I'm like, motherfucker, dude. And I've played this out 1,000 times in my head because, like, in my head, I'm Bruce Lee or John Claude
You were
Van
ready
Damme.
for
I'm going over
this.
there, throw some roundhouse kicks and shit, but in all reality, I probably knock myself out.
You're right. Yeah.
So I go up and I said, Bobby. And he goes, what's up, dude? I said, what are you up to? And he goes, I'm cleaning bird shit off the window, you know? And it was a spiritual awakening. My sponsor was right. This guy saved my fucking life. All of his teeth were rotted out, dude. He was strung out. Probably pumped in the last $2 in his fucking car. And like, I think about it, and I'm like, this is like true surrender. This is when I'm like, okay.
You wanted to smash his head in before you walked up.
I
to him.
did, yeah. And I've played it out so many times, and I'm shaking when I'm walking up there because I've played it
Yeah.
out so many times. And I'm like, this is where I knew, like, I truly
The
surrendered.
peace beyond
Is that I
understanding.
walked up, and I would have paid for his. I'd have paid for his gas and stuff. He was already pumping gas,
Right.
Because that's what my sponsor told me to do. Like, you're gonna do this. I did, and I talked to him. He's like, man, you look great. And I said, yeah, these are the things I did in my life to change it. You know, I don't live that life anymore. And I went on with my business, and I was like sitting there, and I called my sponsor up, which is, okay, at this point in time, it's the guy I stabbed. He ended up becoming my sponsor.
I
Later
love
on
this.
Down the road.
I mean,
Okay?
I love this character development. Like,
It was a sponsor in prison, different sponsor that told you.
So the sponsor in prison told me that I'm going to pay for his stuff.
Right.
So the guy I stabbed when I got out of prison, he ended up becoming my sponsor.
Yeah, the one that you took to NA that sold you on NA. Like
Yeah.
that is a
you
crazy.
guys are like blood
Yeah.
brothers, but in a
Oh,
really
dude.
specific
He's
way.
and he's like, please do not tell me you beat him over the head with that fucking squeegee.
Right,
And I
right,
said,
right.
no, dude. And I told him the story. And he's like, okay, you did good. And I went and picked this other guy up that is my sponsor today, you know. And I told him, he's like, you got to speak about that. And I was like, I don't like to speak. You know, I don't. If you see me
You
at
said
like
like
a
the first time
12-step
you've done one of
meeting,
these, yeah.
Yeah, in the 12-step meeting, you won't hear me speak unless I'm asked because it's service work. And I told him, you got to speak. And then my buddy Mark's like, yeah, you got to tell that story. And so I told it, you know, and it was
From
like,
the
okay,
rooftop,
let go of
man.
it. You know, it's something I let go because you know what, man? I was like, I held on to that for a long time.
It's too
And I
much
had
to hold
this
just you.
bitterness and anger.
Yeah.
And
Well,
it kept me from
Gets
growing.
too heavy.
I got a cut list on my phone if the Jesus thing doesn't work out. And you know, over the last 12 years, it has diminished in names, and then every once in a while, I'm going to throw somebody back on there, say a few words, and then move on about my day. But I'm going to delete a couple names today.
Okay.
'Cause
Okay,
of
that's cool. Yeah.
You're changing lives. Cool.
I need to pick carefully.
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
there's a couple of
I hear you. But I can tell you this. So I'll jump back to the prison thing. So I'm in prison, right?
Yeah.
And I'm walking with my buddy Braden. You know what I'm saying? This is the guy I stabbed, you know. I'm walking with him in the yard and stuff. And he goes, Cole, he says, I want to make an amends to you. I'm sorry for putting you in the position that I put you in. Because he says, if I wouldn't have been there to rob you, you would never would have stabbed me. I said, listen, dude, I want to make an amends to you. Because if I wasn't living the lifestyle I was living, you would have never fucking been there. It never would have happened.
Reconciliation.
And so we make this amends.
Start crying.
So we make this amends. And then later on, I go to the parole board. They don't say one fucking thing about the dozen drug felonies. The only thing they want to know about, they said, we want to know about this first degree assault with a weapon that's pending. And I said, and I told them the story. And they said, they're still going to charge you with it. So that's why they held me there for 2 years. I should have got out of there in 8 months. I should have been home. And so I go down there and tell Braden, and he goes, I'm fucking marching up there, dude. I'm going to tell him what happened, that I'm the guy. I said, stop. I said, this is a fucking God thing.
Right.
And I said, if you do that, they're going to fucking put us in the hole, have us sign enemy waivers, and they're going to ship us off to different camps. So eventually, you know, my sponsor got out. I lost contact with him. And then my brother, he is still in prison, and he gets out about a month after I do. And they offer me I turned down treatments to take a prison sentence. They gave me a fucking 84 and out treatment which is like they make you sing the little teapot and perform it and shit, you know, pull-up system.
Yeah.
And so they're like, we'll let you out 3 or 4 months early. And I said, okay, I'll take that. So I go to treatment. My bud Braden, the guy stabbed, he goes to this place called the Core Program, which is a AA-based, faith-based program down in Branson and Springfield. And I'm trying to like go back home because in my mind I still got this thing of like killing this motherfucker and get my girlfriend
Right.
back,
You haven't had your
which
moment at the squeegee yet.
yeah, which is insane. Like I think about it today, I'm like, what the fuck was I thinking?
I don't know, man.
You were, bro. It was.
No, it was a God thing though
When
because
a guy fucks your girl, that's still.
oh yeah.
It's
And
like.
well, it was a double whammy. Like you're my girlfriend, you're my friend. Like what the fuck? This
Right.
is like a double fucking.
It's always a friend.
And so I keep getting turned down to these places because my dad's got this trailer on like 4 acres out there, and I said that's where I'm going. I'm going there. I ain't got a license or anything, so this is an insane plan. I'm gonna end up back in prison. Every sober living that I applied to that was anywhere near St. Louis, they denied me. And then my cousin Zach, he goes, I know a guy down in Core named Buddy. Let me make a call. He calls him, dude, and this is like 2 days before I get out of prison. So they're gonna send me over to the permanent side of the prison camp up in St. Joe in Kansas City.
Yeah.
And he makes a call, and dude, within 30 minutes, that guy called up there and he says, you send him our way. So I went to the Core Program, which is where
Braden
Braden is at. And then my brother got out a month later. He came there, and that changed his life too. And my brother still lives there. And
Yeah, you had mentioned he's down there.
yeah. And
Love that Table Rock.
I was with him, and I was like, man, I need a sponsor. And that he became my sponsor at that point in time. Wow. We worked some steps together. You know, my mom came down and visited us. That woman's a saint. Gosh damn it, dude.
Right.
And she had stage 4 cancer. So she's like dying, but she would get better. And she came down and seen me and my brother about a couple months after we got out. She looked great. And then I'm sitting there talking to him. He's like, man, you got a storm coming. And he's like, you got all the tools you need, man, but are you going to use them? And in my mind, I didn't want to look like soft. And I was like, yeah, I'm going to use them. I was like, and in my mind, I was like, I have no fucking clue what you're talking about, dude. Right? I got no
I know
fucking
that
clue.
game.
So,
Yes, smile and nod.
my cousin, I seen my mom, and then my cousin calls me up. I went up there to go to a wedding, and I was bringing my sponsor with me for accountability partner, and he's the one I stabbed, right? We're going to go to this wedding together, right? He's going to be my accountability partner,
I
right?
fucking love this.
So we go up there, and my mom's sick, so I don't go to the wedding. And we come back, and about 3 weeks later, my cousin calls me. He says, man, they said your mom's got 2 weeks to live. You got to come home and see her. So my cousin drives up to Branson 4 hours after work, picks us up, and takes us to see her. And that was like one of the hardest moments I ever had to deal with because I went in and see my mom, and all my mom wanted was like for me and my brother to find. She wanted us to find God. That was the main thing, like find God. And she wanted to know that like when she died that we were coming to heaven with her.
You got
Right.
that
All right. And so we found that, you know, because I found that too. And one of the hardest things I ever had to do was like go in there and hug her because she wanted us to go back to there and continue our recovery and live there and then figure out what we were going to do from there. And I mean, I started crying, dude. I went in there, I hugged her, knew that was the last time I'd ever see her. And I remember my stepdad, dude, he hated us, but he had good reason. He sent me a text message. He goes, your mom passed. I said, okay. Me and my brother went up there and like did the service. She got cremated, you know. And then when we went back, and then that is when I realized the tools that he was talking about.
Bingo.
He was like,
That's
you
wild.
know, I built all these relationships with guys in recovery.
Yeah.
And I leaned on them. I didn't isolate. I kept going to they had like outpatient built into it. I kept doing that. I kept working. I kept doing the things that got me sober. I kept doing those things. And then eventually I moved back to St. Louis because I love this grimy ass city, as my wife would say.
Hell
She's
yeah,
like, "I love this grimy
hell
ass city."
yeah.
I'm like, yeah. Okay,
Where's she
I do
from?
too. She was from Webster Groves and she was from Webster Groves. So her mom's like some old woman from Kansas, like a little hodunk town.
Cute.
Farmers.
Okay.
Dad's from Kirkwood.
Not
a black guy from Kirkwood. So when they met,
that's incredible,
dude. The grandfather was born in fucking Prohibition.
Yeah.
So you just imagine that.
So there was some conflict.
Yeah, until they had the children. My brother-in-law and my wife.
And that's how God gets through.
And and he loved them.
He
Girl.
breaks
loved
down
them
the fucking
both,
barriers.
to death.
Just like
I was blessed to go out there and like they let me drive the tractors. They don't let me drive combines or nothing. You know, they give me like a 50-year-old tractor and let me drive that. You know, that's like one of my favorite memories with my wife is like going to Kansas and just getting to like drive the tractor with her. You know?
So she grew up in Webster.
She's bougie. She was bougie.
All right.
Bougie. And
It's not that bougie.
It is bougie.
oh, she was bougie. Yeah.
I live in Webster. No,
So I got
Shack
back.
on Elm.
I got back from there.
Did she go to Webster High?
I don't know, man. She was about 8 years. She's 8 years younger than me.
Okay.
And I'm trying to think.
Do you know where she grew up in Webster? I can
I do
nerd on.
not. She showed me her house one time. She was like, "This is where I grew up and stuff." You know, I couldn't find it if you asked me. So,
Well, you guys live in South City. You want to come?
well, we lived in Afton. Yeah,
Yeah.
We bought a house in Afton together.
Okay.
You know, so
Tower T, baby.
right behind Tower T.
That's my man loves Tower T.
You go to Afton Club Fitness?
I used to.
Maybe this is.
I don't live there.
Are
now.
you the silver fox
No,
that goes?
that's a different Club Fitness, but maybe that's
Wouldn't that be
where we
Right.
would have maybe seen
curveball.
each other.
Yeah, that probably was, dude, because we'd go there all the time, man. We like worked out. She was like a gymnast or something, dude. At one point
Whoa.
in time, had a scholarship, and then she went down that path of like using drugs and shit.
shit.
You know.
How'd you guys meet?
We met in Narcotics Anonymous.
Yeah.
I seen her. I remember the first time I seen her, dude. She walked in a yellow dress. She was pregnant. Sat down next to me, and her oldest daughter Marley kicked my soda over, and then I run into her after she had her kid at like a 4th of July thing, and then I run into her a couple months later. And we were like going to meetings. We were friends and stuff. And then finally,
God is persistent with you.
I cornered her, dude. I was like, hey, because her kid was there. I didn't want her kid to know that I was asking her out. And I was like, you want to go on a date? I was like, what's your favorite? You know, we were talking about favorite movies. And it
The
was,
way you said you cornered her and then did, hey, it's like, fuck,
you know,
I don't know if I'd say yes.
Yeah, I was trying to catch her, you
Hey!
know, because I tried to ask her out a couple times, but it was
I'm
just
gonna
like bad
traumatize her first.
situations.
Yeah, you needed the moment.
Yeah.
You got to seize the moment.
So her kid was like walking off, and I was like, hey, you want to go on a date, you know?
What
And
movie?
Shawshank Redemption.
Hell yeah.
And she was like, hey, this is the kicker. I asked her, like, we were talking about like favorite movies, she goes, that's my favorite movie is Shawshank Redemption. And then I was looking at the movies and I said, Shawshank, it's there.
I'm
at Ronnie's, dude. And I took her,
screaming.
dude. Yeah.
Didn't hit a little too close to home for you, did it?
No, I didn't. No, not too close. No, So, yeah. So,
So you moved back from St. Louis from Core.
That's amazing.
How long ago did your mom pass? I'm so sorry. by
gosh
the way.
damn, dude, it was on Memorial Day. So it was, I want to say it was 7 years ago.
Okay.
So 7 years ago.
I like. Life still happens in recovery.
It does.
You gotta live life on life's terms, and that's what the steps teach you. But, it is wild to like from self-medicating from shit. When it gets really hard, it's like my mouth to this day will water over some really hard shit. I mean, even if I think about it, but then I'm just quickly like, within a week, my life is on fire and unmanageable. But it's something like that, to make it through something like that. And the reason I say this is because you're like, and there's no finish line to the grief, but feeling your feelings for the first time, maybe in,
Yeah.
I don't know,
Yeah.
ever, potentially, like it brings you to your knees and feels like you're getting stabbed 13 times, but it's part of it, man. Like you got to feel it. And it's like a price of love. And like, we're supposed to be fucking wrecked when we lose our moms, you know? I mean, like her dad, like I lost my mom and Zoe's lost her mom. And
My mom's dead. That's why he did the arm thing.
Oh.
I was like,
yeah. I mean, I was checking on you during that story. You did pretty good.
thanks.
Like that's how we're supposed to.
It is.
Yeah. It's hard, man. I don't know. It's not, and I couldn't do it at first. I had to try to drink and do blow to fucking numb it. But to be able to go through that with your tools,
Yeah. And
it's
sometimes
such a
it's
testimony, man, to people that they can do it. and you need a community.
Yeah, and I think about like all the things like I remember the positive stuff I had with my mom, right? Sure. And I know so like there's times that I struggle, and my wife knows that, she knew that, and my mom always made these like pies. She taught me how to make the pies. So if I'm like in there in like July, I'm like,
hell yeah!
Pie, my mother-in-law's like, "Can I help you peel the apples?" And my wife's like, "Leave him the fuck alone. That's his
right. It's his outlet.
Leave him alone."
He's deep in it right now.
Yeah,
and we're gonna. It's good for us. We're gonna get pie.
Right.
Yeah.
Don't you lay a finger.
Hey, the next time you're fucking sad and cook a pie, call me.
I will, man. I do it, man.
I love a good pie.
Yeah.
That's incredible. So you moved back to St. Louis. How long after she passed do you move back to St. Louis? This grimy
about
old
a
city.
year. About a year. So she passed. Well, she passed in May, and then I moved back the following January. Right. I moved back. I met this bougie woman from like Lake St. Louis that wasn't in recovery. I started dating her, and that kind of went. I moved back to like she wanted me to move up
Bougie.
here, and I was like, okay, and that didn't work out. That was a fucking train
You're
wreck.
like, I didn't this bougie woman from Lake St. Louis. I met a girl from Webster.
Yeah. Then I had one from Webster. Yeah, and then my cousin Zach, dude, he's been a blessing in my life because when I was gonna move into my dad's trailer when he was in prison, I was like, I'm gonna fix it up. He goes out there and he's like, you ain't living here. He's like, you're moving in with me, and he like custom built a house. He's like, and you're not working. I was like, I'm gonna go find a job at a factory, dude. I'm gonna just start from scratch. And he goes, the fuck you are, dude. You're coming to work for me.
Was he the one?
Hell
that
yeah,
you,
cousin.
About your mom?
Yeah. So he's the one who drove up and got us, man. And
it's like another brother.
him and his wife, dude, have been a blessing in my life. They've helped me through a lot of stuff, and he is like true loyalty of family.
Sounds like it.
Okay, yeah. So like, eventually, I started dating my wife. Dating my wife and stuff. And
after you've traumatized cornered her.
Traumatized cornered her.
Hey!
Yeah. And
Whatever works, brother.
Oh yeah, and she's like, well, her brother's like, or she goes, you know what you're getting into? I said, yeah, I do. Yeah, and her brother told me I was helping her move into the house one time, and her brother goes, my sister's fucking crazy, right? And I said, you know what I'm getting into.
That's how I like them.
It's like when do I tell him I'm fucking crazy too?
Yeah.
He'll learn, but
we
like
started the podcast.
Yeah.
right.
So, so I lived with him, man. He gave me a job, and then I got this job at Sauna Lake.
And that's where you met Jacob and Eric.
That's where I met Jacob and Eric. Yeah, I was working as a tech over there.
Whoa.
And then
what was the job with Zach? Was it in this industry or not?
my cousin
in recovery?
No,
Yeah.
dude, I was pouring concrete, breaking my back. Yeah, and then he would get a house to rehab in the winter, and that's when I ran into Bobby. After I was packing up a job and ran into him.
Whoa.
With the squeegee and the meth mouth.
Yeah. And I was like,
Damn.
man, where does this lead? Man, they got me on camera. I go back to prison, lose fucking 10 years of my
Right.
life.
Am I getting
Like, that's
punked
what
right
I
now?
can think through today, and that's like impulse control. Like, hit this guy with a fucking shovel.
Dude. So you said that it wasn't until after your mom passed that, like, the idea of, like, the tools, I have the tools that I can, and this might be a reach, but what I have heard, like, through your story is, like, from the beginning, it was like you were holding a lot of emotional weight for everybody in the family. It's like your dad and brother who weren't acknowledging it, maybe even, and pouring themselves into their career path, and then but still going with mom and having to be the one that's holding both. And it's like, so then who's caring for Cole? Who's caring for Jacob? Like, who's putting him first? Even if mom wants to, mom's dealing with big T trauma from marriage, from not knowing what to do. And so it's like your whole life you're trying to balance, how do I love both my parents? And then it finally, when both of those things, you let it go, whether you want to or not. And it's like, okay, well, now I'm not living my life for her, and I have to live it for me.
Yeah.
And so what does that look like? It's like we don't mean to self-neglect
Right.
when we grow up in trauma, especially as the youngest. It's like, well, there's nobody coming after me to clean this shit up. So,
oh, yeah, definitely not. Yeah.
right. And so it's like, it is so heartbreaking and also beautiful. Like you like truly lived your life to love others well from day one.
Yeah.
And I don't know, that's really beautiful. And I I mean, like, and sad, tragic, but
yeah.
I think it's like,
But we have those things, right?
right,
And
everything's
that's what we gotta
both.
do is like try to learn how to deal with them the best we can.
Yeah.
You know, especially with grief and loss.
Yeah, I'm so glad you got to see her, too, before she passed.
Yeah. Yeah.
Amen, man. So when you got to Sauna Lake, you had never really worked in this space?
No, but I was like, man, I heard of this place that it just opened. I was like, man, I'd like to do that.
Did you start
man.
day one?
No, I started a couple months after
Okay.
they opened, and then
I was at the open house.
yeah. So I went there and I applied for the job, and you know, all these jobs that I applied for, they were turning me down because I was trying to be honest. Which I was like, okay,
Fuck that.
we're gonna stop this fucking
Right.
shit with the fucking.
Give me
criminal
my fake
record,
resume.
Stop
okay?
it. Let's just. There's a ceiling. Right?
Yeah. So I went in there. I said, well, what's your background check look like when they hired me? He goes, well, what do you got? I said, I got a possession charge.
Yeah.
You know, he goes, Department of Mental Health will give you a fucking waiver. And so I was so fearful of that. I was feared the rejection of them saying no. And then finally, you know, I was dating my wife at this time. We just started dating, and I was like, man, I fear this. They want these letters from people. And so my wife wrote me a letter. Her friend wrote me a letter. My cousin wrote me a letter.
Oh.
And then I had to write a letter of like how I had changed my life and how I was going to maintain it and why I
Yeah.
want to do this. And I did. And they gave me the waiver. And I became a tech.
Mm-hmm.
And then one day, about
That's
8
what a
months,
starting position.
starting position, yeah. And I was like, eventually want to be a counselor,
Yeah.
you know. And I knew it was going to be a huge pay cut, which it was. It was a huge pay cut.
From pouring concrete. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and Jacob Miller walked up to me one day. He goes, "Hey man, we're expanding the peer supports. We're expanding. We're doing an outpatient thing." He goes, "I want you to come in for an interview." And I said, "Well, I don't have a peer support." He goes, "Who gives a fuck? Come in for the interview. Just come in for the interview." So I went in there for the
That's our
interview.
Jacob.
And he came up a couple days later, and he goes, "We'll figure the peer support stuff out. We'll get it for you.
Yeah.
You know, we'll help you get it." And he goes, "Did you check your email?" And I said, "No, I'm bad about checking emails. It pisses him off."
Yes
Pisses
and
him off,
amen.
dude.
Yes and amen. Who needs an email? I got a whole phone number.
That's what I tell him. I'm like, just message
You
me
don't
or
check
call
that
me.
either.
Yeah,
You
because
know?
y'all be banging my line on email. How am I supposed to pay attention to one if I can't keep
Yeah.
up with both?
So he hired me as the first peer support.
Yes and amen.
And then I was working there for a couple of years, you know, and he pulled me to the side one day. He goes, "Let's go to lunch."
Oh,
you know, and we're at lunch and stuff, and he goes, "Me and Eric, we got this ideal brewing." You know, he's still working for Sauna Lake at this
I
point.
know.
I don't think Eric wasn't, but he goes, "We're thinking about opening up this treatment center, man." And he's like, "We want you to come on for your counselor. We want you to be our first counselor, and we need you to come on for it, and we need you to get some other credentials to do it." And I said, "Okay, I'm gonna work on that. I'm with you on this."
Yeah, what the fuck took you so long?
I'm screaming.
No offense.
So when I talked to him, you know, I had a conversation with my wife, and at that point in time, it didn't make sense because they didn't have the insurance.
Okay.
So my insulin and all that stuff wouldn't have been covered. And I said, "Man, you guys don't have it. You know, you don't have the insurance."
Right,
and he
right,
goes,
right. I
"Okay."
remember, yeah,
So
the
the
whole
first day that he's like, "We're getting insurance like next week, man. Come in for an interview." And I was like, "Okay." And man, I went and I got a job as a counselor out there, of course, because I told my boss, Cassie, I said, "Listen, they want me to come there." I told them a number, and they're going to give me that number.
Yeah.
And she goes, "So what do you need to do?" I said, "I need to do something to stay here." And I stayed there, and then it started going to shit, dude. I started getting like a bad
Really?
like supervisor and stuff, man. And I was like, gosh damn. Met a good friend there, Tom. We were like ex-cons, you know, and we're like on an island together working as counselors.
I'm screaming.
And all the other counselors are like, these guys are ex-cons, you know, and they kind of look
Yeah,
down
God
on us,
forbid
you
we
know?
relate to the people
Yeah.
here.
So I ended up going in for the interview, and I didn't think I was going to take this job. I said, they're not going to be able to meet what I need. And so I went in there, told Jacob Miller, I said, "These are all the problems with me coming here, man. I lose this and that." And he goes, "Well, let's fix them." I said, "Okay." And he goes, "Well, now let's talk numbers." And so I thought, Jacob, he's going to be pissed about this.
He doesn't listen.
He goes, "What's your nut?" He goes, "Will you take this?" And I said, "No, this is my fucking number." And he goes, "I can't give you that." And then he called Eric Conley, and Eric Conley said, "Give it to him."
My man.
All right, Big
Eric told me
E.
too. He goes, "If Jacob can't close the deal, you come talk to me." When they were like painting the hallway in this
I'm
place, so I seen this place
screaming.
before they bought it.
You know what's funny about that is I'd always come by and fake my knee injury or something. Like, guys, I'd help, but I'd fake a phone call and shit
Right.
because I got business to do. You know, fuck.
Yeah.
Oh
So,
my gosh.
I thought
He's
Manuel
the
was-
Michelle Obama here.
Yeah.
He's the closer.
that's how I got here, you know, and So,
What?
and then, you know, so this is like a big one on the story too. Is you know, my wife, she was like strong recovery like woman, you know, very educated, and I'm like, so she's taught me a lot in my recovery. She's also taught me a lot of fucking patience because she's like, she has the bipolar disorder.
Yes and
Gosh.
amen.
So she has the up and downs, you know, and she would just
I
like,
do know.
she would go off on me and she'd
Zoe-
be like
Zoe
drilling
be
me.
knowing.
And I think what she was looking for was a reaction for me to like argue with her. And luckily she's taught me some patience. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to remove myself from this situation.
For the record,
So-
that's not what the fuck I do.
So
I
I'm like,
don't want your reaction.
Me, I'm like, hey, you're here and I'm here and I do not want to get here because I'm going to say some shit that I'm going to regret.
Yeah.
And I've done that before. And that's why I know like I can remove myself. And I said, I'm going to sleep in the basement and we'll talk about this in a couple of days. The fuck, you're not sleeping in the basement. You're going to sleep in our bed, you know? Good. And eventually, you know, a lot of times she was wrong. She just didn't see it. She would make an amends. She'd be like, I'm so sorry. I was acting like that, you know?
Right.
But it was like her medications needed adjusted. So that
Is she BP1?
I don't know.
Well, and also a lot of times it's like bipolar is the inside, but the outside is the manifestation of the chemicals inside plus how you watched other people behave when they were having that emotion. So a lot of times, especially because it's heritable, it's like you watched your bipolar mom act like that, and then the dad who was not healed was not doing the shit that you're committed to doing. They match that and then they go at it. But that's the only way they know how to feel the feeling is if the other person's feeling it too, to the max. And so it sounds like you are like, were huge in that for her. Like being like, I am someone who is safe.
Regulated.
And we can figure it out. We are on the same team.
Oh, yeah. She wrote me this journal before we got married, right? And I was reading through it last week. I read one and it said, and I pray this. It's crazy because a lot of the stuff she wrote in there is stuff I pray for, right? It said, be slow to speak, slow to anger. Mm-hmm. What the fuck?
Quick to listen.
Quick to listen. That's what it says. Quick to listen. Be quick to listen, slow to anger, slow to speak, right? It's not in that order though, all right?
But those three.
And then she writes at the bottom of it, she goes, me and my daughters are so blessed to have you in our lives because you're so patient with me and my daughters. Fuck. You know? And I was like, oh my gosh.
How old are the girls now?
So, Marley is 10. She's going to be 11 in August. The other one is turning 7 next week.
Okay.
Wow.
So, but
it's exciting.
Yeah,
Big
so
birthday?
no.
You better get to the store.
So I sent. So this is the deal. So my wife, she ended up starting drinking after 9 years of sobriety.
Whoa.
And what happened was, man, she just stopped. She stopped going to meetings and you know, and it's not, you know, her. So her brother is a heavy drinker and he can like manage his life, right? He can keep a job. He can not get legal problems, and then. You need a fucking this is my wife's words. You need a fucking Venn diagram for the family.
Got it.
So he married this woman, which she has kids with my oldest daughter's father.
Okay.
So now we're into
Whoa.
Okay. So
Wait a second. So the brother, your brother-in-law,
married the second mother. So this guy's got 3 women that he has children with. My wife is one, and then the second one. And the second one, boy, she's a fucking bulldog. She raises all the kids from all the women.
Wait, so the brother of your wife
married her. So they're married, right? And they're drinkers. And they started coming around. They don't know recovery, so like I can't blame that on them that she started drinking.
She didn't marry your brother, right?
No,
you're
my brother-in-law.
Okay, I was
Brother-in-law.
On the same page as you.
The brother-in-law. So so she married my brother-in-law. Okay.
I'm there. In-law was important
Yeah,
for
so
me. Okay. Still horrible.
And me and my
in
wife were like, well, holy shit, if they have kids, it's gonna be like Marley's brother cousin. We can't, you know.
Right,
like,
right.
No, don't ever say that, Marley. You know, but
Okay.
So she started drinking because she'd go to the casino with him every weekend. I said, girl, this is fucking dangerous.
Right.
What was
And-
her drug of choice?
Heroin and cocaine, crack cocaine. And she started drinking. I said, we've seen people go down this path and we
Yes.
know it doesn't work. You know, when she started drinking, dude, she was drinking for a couple months and I smelt it. And I said, have you been drinking? And you know how what? I can't believe you'd even say that. And then
God.
she rolled into bed one day and she goes, Cole, I've been drinking. I thought she was fucking with me. I rolled over and I could smell it. And I said, well, what happened? And she goes, I don't know. We got into an argument at a Luke Bryant concert when we were over there at with her brother and my sister-in-law, my brother-in-law and sister-in-law.
I got it.
We're gonna
That's
go there,
be-
yeah.
it's gonna
So
be a little-
and she goes, and I went and got a drink, and I told her, I said, hanging around people that are drinking, you know, I said, it's dangerous, and I said, and going to like the casino every weekend with them is dangerous, and you know, it's not their fault because she made the decision. You know, and she wasn't going to as many meetings and stuff. And she wanted me to like go to the bar with her and shit. And I said, I know it's got me my recovery. I know how I've maintained it and that's not how I do it. And she's like, when I tried getting her to go back to the rooms, she goes, I hold a resentment against Narcotics Anonymous. I said, why? And she said, because they told me I'd die if I'd go back out. And I said, girl, I said, it's a possibility. I said, and if you don't die from it, you'll die miserable. You know, and she's like, you know, I said, here's the deal. I called my sponsor up.
Sure.
And he goes, there's nothing you can do, Cole. He says, the only thing you can do is tell her you love her, you care for her, and you support her. So I went in there, I told her, I said, listen, I love you, I support you, but I'm not okay with this decision. If it gets out of hand, you have to go to treatment. And she's like, okay, I agree. Because we had gotten married. This is like 7 months after we got married. And
Not
I'm
a long
like,
time after that.
Yeah.
you know, so not a long time, no. And the guy I stabbed too, he was one of my groomsmen. So
Hell yeah. I
gotta throw that one in there, you know.
go Braden.
So
I got to get
him.
him on the show.
Yeah.
We got to get it. What's he up to? We got to get him on the show.
he's so busy. He got a couple kids. He was an electrician.
He's clean and sober.
He started drinking, and
God
then
damn it.
well, so I was working here, and he calls me up, and he goes, Cole, he goes, can you meet me at a meeting in Illinois? I said, yes. Send me, and he goes, meet me at this meeting. And so I get to work one day and I would Google it, you know. And it was 2 minutes from here. So it was like a God thing, you know. Today's my spiritual advisor. He gives me all these prayers and stuff. And he goes, I was drinking, and he goes, I caught myself. I went in and got some painkillers from my mom or grandma or something. And he goes, and I stuck it in my sock, was hiding it. And he goes, and I caught myself. And he goes, oh my gosh, I got to get back into the rooms.
Man,
And he did, man.
Good
he,
for
he
him.
got back in the rooms, man.
stop. He's done drinking.
He's done drinking, yeah.
What
'cause he
about
caught
your
himself.
wife?
My wife. So, nope. So what happened was, her mental health started going bad.
Yeah,
We
if
had
you start
committed- We took her to
drinking.
the psych ward. Okay.
Really?
Family distanced herself from her.
Do you ever listen to this?
I listened to Alyssa's.
You got to listen to Mike Wellington's.
Okay.
We had him on recently. He's a professional. He's a caddy now for the Champions Tour golf.
Oh,
And
really?
He's written a book, Birdies, Bogeys, and Bipolar Disorder, and he's a big champion for BP1, bipolar in general. But he's like, he used to try to drink with, and he's like, you just can't. If you ever have bipolar, you can't drink. Like, especially
Yeah.
bipolar 1. Like,
Oh,
let
yeah,
alone
yeah.
all the other like diseases of addiction that we have, all the other factors, whether it's environmental or not. It fucks up the bipolar. In his story, you got to listen to it.
She was so much worse when she was drinking and on the medication.
So she ended up So she ended up in a psych. How long was she in
So
psych?
we took her to the psych ward.
Which one?
You know? Over there by I call it St. John's. It's not called St. John's.
DePaul?
Mercy South.
Oh, Mercy South. Yeah.
So
okay,
it was over there. So my father-in-law
St.
took
Anthony's.
her over there
Yeah.
because like me, I'm like distancing myself from her more and more, you know. And then she started falling back in all of her fucking old behaviors, you know, of like the addiction, you know. And so I started distancing myself from her, and I was like, you got to go to treatment. She goes, no, I don't need treatment. It's my mental health. I said, your mental health is declining because of your drinking. Mm-hmm. And so we took her to the psych ward. Mm-hmm. We got her the help. And I'm going to just say this. She was the most amazing woman I ever met when she was sober, when she was in recovery, dude. She was an amazing woman. And then this person, I just didn't know her anymore. And I was like riding it out. I was like, okay, dude, she's going to eventually want help. and went to the psych ward, got out a couple days later. She's drinking. She goes, they said I could have one or two. I was like, the fuck they did. I was like, I guarantee they did not say that to you.
Well, I also wouldn't be surprised if they did. I feel like
Right.
Yeah.
keep going.
And
I
then
know
it
where you're
was,
going with that.
I remember it was Father's Day.
Sure.
You know?
When?
This is, gosh damn it, this is, I want to say 23,
Okay.
2023, Father's Day.
So not like yesterday.
No, this is a couple years ago. It was Father's Day, and I remember, I was like, come on, she just lost it. She'd been up all night drinking and stuff, and she was like, she thought I was having an affair. Because here's the reality. She was having an affair.
Oh, cool.
So what she did was she had the youngest daughter, that guy, they're out there sneaking to hotel rooms and shit, and they're getting drunk and using together. And
More than drinking.
I don't know what he was doing. All right. But I mean, someone in recovery, do you do that? No. He was in recovery at one point in time, but he wasn't at this point in time. Because I know the guy recommitted a couple years ago. And so they're out there doing that. And so in her mind, I think what she was thinking was I'm doing this, he's doing this. If I catch him, I can justify it. That's the only thing I could think of, right? And so we had her, she started acting out on those behaviors, took her to the psych ward. She got out, dude. On Father's Day, I took my kid to the movies and to eat, and we came home, and my mother-in-law and them, I told her, I said, listen, if you won't get help, I want a divorce. And she's like crying. She's sitting there talking, looking at me, and she goes, is that what you really want? Is a divorce? And then she's crying. I said, yeah, if you don't go get help, yes. I said, I told you that I would remove myself from this house if you wouldn't get help and it got out of control. And that's what I'm doing. I'm going to remove myself from the house, and we'll work on this from a distance. And if it gets worse, then yes, we're going to have to get a divorce. So then I get in my truck, and she's like in front of my truck. She's fucking manic. And I had to back down the street. And then I called my mother-in-law. I said, can you get the keys to my car? And she goes, Cole, it's too late. She done threw a rock on there. So she went and did some remodifications to the car.
Got it.
Okay. And I don't even know how she picked up this fucking rock, because it was like this. That's how manic she was.
I was going to say mania.
And she threw it, tried throwing it through the windshield, and it hit the hood and rolled off. And then she got it on the windshield.
She got it. So she
and
did it
looked
twice.
Yeah. And then she looked like a confetti bomb went off in my car of like pictures of us. And
Oh, wow.
I tried working things out with her. And I was like, she's like, we need to go to counseling. I said, okay. I said, set up the counseling. She goes, no, you need to. Today, I regret it. I wish I would have set the counseling up.
Oh.
But she wouldn't set it up. And finally, I was like, we're going to have to get a divorce. I met her up there a couple times to like try to file for divorce. And then fuckers, dude, it's all about money, So it's easier to get fucking married than it is divorced. And we went up there, and they're like, you forgot this in the paperwork. And then I would call her. I'm like, I need you to meet me at the courthouse. And then she would be like, she wouldn't show up. And she'd like show up like 2-3 hours late. And I remember I seen her in, gosh, I was at the courthouse. It was June or July of 24. And she was just like 90 pounds, started using fentanyl. Now she's got a boyfriend that's selling fentanyl.
So you guys are divorced.
We're not divorced yet, no.
Oh, but you're not together.
But we're separated, yeah.
This
so
doesn't come back. All right, I didn't know where this. I didn't know.
And so in my mind, I was like, well, I'll get to that later. But we got divorced. We're signing these divorce papers, and the fucking lady behind the desk has dealt with us 3 times.
Yeah.
And she's seen how manic my fucking wife was, and we were up at the notary getting something notarized, and they said, Mr. Shea, and I said, yeah, and they said, you forgot something downstairs. They need you to come back downstairs. I go down there, and she goes, I got a lawyer that will sign this, and it'll be finalized in 60 days. Do you want that? And I'm like, yeah, and I got to talk to my wife. I said, man, I love you. I want you to know that, but I want to help you. And she goes, it's not my substance use. It's my mental health. And I said, but it's, it's causing it, and I said, I love you, and I want to help you, and I can get you in a treatment, because I was going to call in a favor with Eric and fucking Jacob Miller and get her over here. And so they come out, dude, and she's crying, and I'm like, she's like, you don't show any emotion. And I don't. She's like, oh, she refers to me as the Queen's Gambit. You ever seen?
Oh, yeah.
She goes, you're like the Queen's Gambit. You have like no expression on your face. I'm like, that's because I made a promise when my mom and dad My dad was like physically abusive with my mom. So I was like, I'll never put my hands on my wife or my significant other, and I'll never break a promise to break a promise to you or the children, you know, and I stand by that. And so then it was weird, man. I was talking to my mother-in-law, and she's like, she's getting ready to file bankruptcy. I'm like, what? And she's like, yeah. They took her kids. She lost her kids because of her, you know, and got committed to the psych ward again for the third time. And the day I left, she tried to kill herself. She drove into a telephone pole at fucking 50 miles an hour, hit it head on. And that was one of the things she was so mad at. She was, I tried to kill myself and you didn't show up. And I was like, oh, fuck, you know, because because I was so, at that point, I was like, this is like a call for like help. You know, it's just like she's trying to get me to come back home and stay in the house with her. And I was like, I have to set this boundary.
Yeah, that's a boundary.
Right. And my mother-in-law and had to sign like a thing to get her committed to the psych ward that night, you know. But when I seen her, I made sure to tell her that I was like, hey, I love you. I'm here for you. When you want help, you call me because I'll fucking make it happen that day and I will get you there. All right. And
good for you, man.
so I go and I'm celebrating 9 years clean, right? It's my 9 years clean. And I go and I get on my fucking phone and I see her name on my, like, I'm OCD with my, like, banking app. And I see we got this couch together that we put in our name, and she's filing bankruptcy. So I'm like, what the fuck is this? She done got a credit card in my name. And it was, I had made a payment like a week later on this couch because I had to start paying the payment on it because it was her couch, but it was hitting my credit. And then I go out and I check the mail, and the divorce papers are there, and they're finalized. And they're like, this will be finalized in 30 days of this signature. And so I got that right. And at this point in time, I'm like staying with my aunt, you know. And my aunt, dude, I get this call from a guy. He's like giving me information on her. He's like, dude, she, you know, he would tell me stuff that she's doing because his wife is the godfather of Marley, my oldest. And he says, hey, Cole, I need you to call me. And I said, okay. It's like 8 o'clock, dude. And he goes, we found Lindsay dead in the kitchen. Damn it. And I said, what? And he's like, and you know, I'm like, what the fuck? And it was the first week I started here. So I worked here a week, and I'm like, what the fuck, dude? Cool. And I'm like, this is not real. I'm like, this can't be, dude. And then I get to work, and this is like, I thank God for all the guys I've built relationships with. I must have had 30 phone calls because I don't have social media like Facebook and shit. So I don't see the stuff that's posted, and they're like, we're here for you, man. Come eat with us. My one buddy, Tom, dude, he's showing up at my fucking house. Yeah. And he's like, I'm coming, dude. We got to go and get you out of the house and stuff. And my mother-in-law, you know, I'm blessed to be involved in my oldest daughter's life. The other one, no. That guy hates me. I got no, like, that's the one that was having an affair with her. Yeah, no,
another one.
Selma.
Yeah, that's right. So
and that's like my ride or die, dude. She'd come in, sneak in next to the bed next to me, and she'd say,
so you don't get to see Selma?
I don't get to see Selma, no. And she'd come in and be like, Coco. And I'm like, yeah. And she like, we're sneaking. Everyone knows we're doing this. She goes, let's get a midnight snack.
Nice, yeah.
Because I turned that on to her. I'm like, and my wife's like, why do you do that? I said, because they'll remember it for the rest of their life.
Fuck yeah.
And so I don't get to see her. And my mother-in-law, dude, that guy don't even let her. He like, because he's Bosnian, so they don't believe in God and stuff. And we would take her to church, and she loves Jesus.
Yeah.
And I see my mother-in-law last week, and she said, he cussed me out. He's like, he pulled me out of there. He thought I was praying with her. And, you know, I don't know if she was or not. Oh, and so he holds that over. And he used to do that shit to my wife. Like,
and he was an addict, the alcoholic.
He got clean. He's probably been clean 2 or 3 years. He got clean and got custody of her. And they took my wife's kids, and she lost her job. And then my mother-in-law is a blessing because
you guys are still close.
She
when did Lindsay die?
She died. So she died on my fucking 9 years clean, August 13th.
So 4 years ago. Well, no, you're how
24. 2 years. It'll be 2 years this year.
Okay.
Wow.
So yeah, it's just recent, you know. And I was seeing a woman at that point in time, and she was supposed to be this Christian woman. And when I was like, hey, you know, Lindsay is gone, and she is, you know, and I said she's not around to be like toxic, you know, because she was toxic in her active addiction. And I truly thought in my heart, I was like, when she gets sober, she's going to realize, she's like, oh my gosh, I messed up.
You never
And I
gave
need
up
to,
on her, man.
No, and she's like, I need to make this. I believed she would be like, I need to make this right. And I figured we would have worked things out eventually. She would have got clean, and it just never happened. And this woman, she was like, no. I was like, they want me to be involved in Marley's life. I told her, I said, it probably won't happen with Selma because that guy's not going to let it happen because I got into a fist fight with him in the street. And he, I'm like 165. This guy's like 270 or something. He thought he was going to manhandle me, and it went south real quick on him.
You got his ass.
I got him with one shot, dude. He tried muscling me to the ground. I got it on video here. I'll show you when we're done.
Can't wait to see it.
And you can hear my wife like, yeah, show this to your fucking daughter, you piece of shit, you hillbilly Hoosier. That's what she said in there, dude. So, but yeah, he was a lot. You'll see how much bigger he was, and I was like, this needs to happen. I'm thinking like old school when I'm a kid, like one of us is gonna get our ass kicked, and we're just gonna squash this shit. Yeah. But he was always like verbally and mentally, and he was physically abusive with my wife. And I'm like, dude, I've been trying to be cordial with this guy for 3 years. I said, it's over, dude. I said, we're just gonna go out and duke this thing out, dude. And he thought I was gonna back down, and he probably was like, holy shit.
So the new girlfriend didn't like the fact that you
She
weren't in
didn't
a
like it.
relationship
She
with
goes,
Marley?
no, that will not. She goes, I'm not okay with that. And I was like,
The fuck?
and I called I told my brother, and I told my aunt too, because she was a friend of the family. I said, I have fucking morals, and I will not break my fucking moral compass over this.
Right.
I said she can kick fucking rocks. And my aunt's like, well, she's a family friend.
Give a
Said, not to my family.
Be careful of like how you say it. And so I called my brother up. I told him, he says, that hooker can kick fucking rocks. I called my buddy from England, my buddy Gareth. He's one that's ride or die with me. He goes, she should be fucking supporting you, dude.
Right.
Yeah. He goes, fuck her. And I said, okay. And that's like one of the things I do in my recovery. I'm like, I need to call 3 people.
Nice.
And I need 2 answers because that'll tell me what's like
Few different perspectives.
good, And it was like, I just needed to hear that because my brother's like, fuck that, dude.
Cole, that's fucking wild.
And
You've been
so
through it, man.
I'm involved with my oldest daughter
Good.
all the time, dude.
And she's 11 now?
She will be 11 in August.
Okay.
And like we're going to fucking Six Flags tomorrow. I got her Six Flags pass. That's
Don't
where
go
I
on
was
those
last
swings.
Monday.
Yeah, don't go on those fucking swings.
She doesn't like rides. She only wants to go to a water park.
That's all I ever want to do. Fuck, and no one will go to the water
So I'm
park with
taking
me.
her and her older sister with me.
I almost-
And
Well, I hope you guys have a great time.
this is like, so for Christmas.
I almost died on the fucking wave pool.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I was with Eric's sister, and she was laughing. As I was drowning on the bottom of the pool, I could hear her laughing.
Yeah. Oh,
I'm
yeah.
like, they sounded the alarm to rescue me. And she's bent over peeing, laughing so hard while I'm dying.
That's
No,
why
you
my
did snort.
kid loves that
You just
fucking
snorted.
Now I
wave
did,
pool,
but
man. That's all. I have to stand out there with her.
Ask Eric.
I will.
The fucking story lived forever.
Right.
I'm lucky to be alive. She had the time of her life.
Oh, good.
So, happy birthday to Marley. And how long have you been
That's
here?
gonna be Selma.
So,
She's the one I don't get to see. So
Right.
like what I do is, I'll buy presents for her.
Yeah.
But I have to send it over with my daughter. I call her my daughter. She's my stepdaughter.
yeah,
I call her my
you don't
daughter.
have to,
all
you
right?
don't have to
Yeah.
asterisk
Because I
it in
raised
this.
her since she was 3.
Hell,
dude,
you
and
don't
I've
have
been
to
there.
No
explain
asterisk
shit
here.
You know,
here.
so me and my wife raised her, dude. She's always been with us. And I send her like Christmas presents. I just gotta label them from Santa Claus or like, hey, this is from Marley and Selma. I don't get to see her, but I'm hoping like one day I'll be
Stay
like,
faithful, man. I'm
you
gonna
know,
pray for that.
it'll come through. You know, she'll see that.
How long have you been here?
Yeah.
2 years in August.
That's incredible, man.
So yeah, and I'm
and
blessed
so,
to
are
be
you still
involved in her
working the
life.
rooms?
Yeah.
You still NA?
Yeah.
Sponsor, sponsees.
Sponsor, yeah. My sponsor's dad just passed fucking like a month or 2
Well,
ago.
Ooh.
And what I got to get you to Underground on a Wednesday night.
Hell, yeah.
I've heard of it. Well, my problem is I'm here on
You
Wednesdays.
have that's what you
Screaming.
keep saying because
Yeah.
I wanted you to share there too. So we'll have to figure out how to get that scheduled.
Yeah.
Get
Tell
you-
Jacob Miller gotta give me a day off or something.
So you're here Wednesday night.
I usually stay here like later on Wednesdays. Yeah.
Alright.
So and then I live in Franklin County, like
Oh, you're
past
not
Six
South City
Flags.
anymore.
No,
okay.
dude, I live like way out there in Franklin County, man. I've been helping my dad build this fucking house, and he's dragging
Single
ass
man?
on it. Me?
Yeah.
No.
You got a girl now.
I do. She lives in South City.
Nice.
So
Okay.
I stay with her on the weekends and stuff.
Cool.
She's
All
an
the bad
amazing
bitches
Christian
do.
woman, dude. She got patience. She got some patience because I'm like,
so do you.
So this is one thing when my wife, when I like separated from my wife, she goes, please do not bring women in and out of my daughter's life. I said I would never do that. I'm like, and at this point, I'm like, I'm not even thinking about that. I'm trying to still work things out with you.
Right, because I'm not thinking about other
She's
people.
thinking I'm having an affair because that's the shit that she was doing, you know, and probably other guys did to her. And I'm like, I don't do that, you know. And that's the
Right.
journal I was telling you about.
Yeah.
I'm sitting here thinking about this. I'm like, man, I wish I saved
You were
her
getting
letters
choked
and stuff.
up when you were fucking reading.
So
that.
I found the journal, and it was 30 days of journaling to me before our wedding, and that's what she gave me. So I take it to the cemetery because that's part of my grieving process. Is like,
Yeah.
I'll take it there and I'll read one of those pages.
How
out
old
of there.
was she when she passed?
33.
Oh my God.
So she died 3 days after her birthday and a week before Marley's birthday.
Was it overdose?
Fuck.
It was they found her dead in the kitchen from an overdose. It was a bad batch of fentanyl, man. They found a bunch of people dead that week.
It's just unfucking believable.
And the boyfriend there, you know, I pray I don't see him, but I was like, you know, it's one of them things like I was that guy at one point in time in my life.
Yeah, man. I don't know. I'm supposed to be a recovery pastor, but we got to pray about it because I'm like, I'm not going to ask you to do something I don't know if I can do. Like, we'll figure it out.
I'm
You got
blessed because
community, man.
I have like my relationship with my wife's family.
Yes.
It's fucking amazing.
And I mean, my advice is like Marley's more important, or the daughter. Both daughters are more important than for you to be a free man than if you were to run into somebody and do something stupid. So.
And my mother-in-law treats me like she treated me like a son, you
Right.
know. And my brother-in-law, dude, he like I set some boundaries, you know, because he like kind of runs the family.
Yeah.
He's like he's the guy of the family, right?
Brother-in-law's
so he's like
wife-in-law,
watching out for
plus-
everybody,
yeah,
you know.
Yeah.
And we were real good friends, but I set a boundary one time and I think it was, you know. Me and my wife, we had like a sixth sense of humor, you know? Like people would think we were serious in public. I'm like, hooker, what the fuck are you doing? She'd shut your mouth, ho. That's what she'd say to me. Shut your mouth, ho. And that was like our love language, you know? And my brother-in-law didn't understand it.
That might be the title.
Yeah.
Shut your mouth, ho.
Yeah, so my wife would say that to me. I'd be like, hooker, what are you doing? You know? But he like runs the family and shit, and he was kind of a dick to me. He was a dick to me for a long time. And I pray, you know, that's one of the things my one sponsor, the guy I stabbed, I call him my spiritual advisor.
Braden.
He taught me,
We've
he
met
taught me
him.
this prayer, man. I held a resentment against my stepfather or something, dude. And he goes, Cole, what is it that you want in life? I said, I want peace, love, joy, happiness, and freedom from addiction. He goes, I want you to pray for your stepdad to have that. And I said, you piece of shit.
Yeah, right.
Right.
He's a fucking
Yeah.
Ooh, when you feel like a little too seen by the Lord,
Yeah.
you're like,
Oh, trust me.
So I used that in
Make
my
a
life
wish.
today, and I prayed for my brother-in-law. You know, I was like, man, help me forgive and like all my resentments towards these people. Help me love them as you have loved me, and grant them things I want in this life and the next. And no bullshit. On Mother's Day, he goes up because me and my daughter will go up. I'll take her every time I get her, and she said, "I'm afraid I'm gonna forget what mom looks like." That'll never happen, girl. So I got fucking probably 100 flags in my trunk that we go out and change the flag at our cemetery. And then like, have you ever seen like a headstone with like a picture of somebody on there?
Yeah.
So we went on the back side of the headstone and I got it fucking about 30 pictures back there of her. And he sends me this message. He goes, man, Cole, I just want to apologize to you. I was such a dickhead or not dickhead. He goes, I was such a dick to you for the time that I knew you, and I just want you to know I'm sorry for that because you were good to my sister and her girls. And I was like, that's all like, man, it gave me fucking freedom.
Cole, I appreciate you so much, man. The all jokes aside about like titles, the entire from the beginning to the end of this episode, your entire, which is wild because we say the word a lot. It's a big Christian word, but your entire fucking story is just embedded in all types of fucking forgiveness, man.
yeah.
Like, forgiveness, this is different than saying, I'm sorry, I forgive you. This is deep-rooted fucking soul, heart forgiveness that I think is what Jesus talked about, not
like walking forgiveness.
Bingo.
Like you're
all
doing it.
The entire story, it is just embedded. And it is the theme of your journey.
Oh, yeah.
and it's inspiring, and I can't thank you enough for sharing, brother. We got to get you to underground soon.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, let me give you a slice of pizza.
Yeah. So I don't bring women into my daughter's life. That's what I told my wife, right? The woman I date.
Sure.
I told her
It's a
that.
good- I
and
mean,
she is. I was like, she goes, well, when's it going to happen? Because she wants to be involved in her life. And I said,
Of course, she's getting that little nosy
she's
age.
10, she's 10. And I was like, it would break her fucking heart because you know what my
Mm-hmm.
daughter said? She goes, I just like it when, I miss when it was just you, me, mom, Selma.
Yeah.
I said, she goes, I miss it. I said, no, girl. I said, it'll never be like that again, you know?
Well, I just lucky enough to call you a brother, and I appreciate you so much for being on, man. And we're gonna stay in touch. You got to come back. We got to have you on up to underground soon.
Okay. Sorry for rambling on.
No, this is great, man. I appreciate it. If I'd have to pee
Do
so
not
bad, we'd go another
apologize.
couple hours.
Yeah.
God bless you, brother. Thanks for listening, guys. Let's
Yeah.
pray.
Yeah. I'll react if I had to. Put some things in the past too, and don't let them distract you, but react if you have to. Yeah. I'll react if I had to. Put some things in the past too, and don't let them distract you, but react if you have to. Yeah. React if you have to. Yeah.
Don't know the time,